Hey everybody, let me turn on some studio lights here so that I don't have forehead cancer. We are good to go. Those damn wind... I was going to say windmills, and then I thought I really should say wind turbines. Never mind. I can't talk, so let's back up here and take a look at what our friend Matt Gaetz has to say. Speaking of friends, I don't know what that was. Welcome everybody. I did a little bit of Matt Gaetz hair in honor of today. Hold on. My camera's too low. There we go. I just got out of the shower, so I should be able to do a little Matt Gaetzy. Can I do a little Matt Wayne Gacy here? No? I can't do it. I don't know how he does it. I'm impressed. Let's see. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear him? Let's go from there.
Please say not even.
I think you can. I think you can. I think you can. I think you can. Here's someone talking before him, and he's got a blue suit on. Nothing better than a bright blue suit. That is a telltale sign, ladies. Run! How about now? How about now? Here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. It means a great deal to me to see so many of you took the time to be here today. My name is Ocean Andrew from House District 46, and I want to thank Congressman Gaetz for coming up from...
Is that a Wyoming accent? What is that? Where's he from? He's that kid in class that had to develop slightly British accent by age 9, and you're like, well, where you're from Westchester.
From the great state of
Louder. You see by the telltale yellow, he's wearing a Snopes tag, so this is Matt with Snopes.
All right. My name is Ocean Andrew.
His name is Ocean. And that suit is not the color of the ocean.
From House District 46. And I want to thank Congressman Gaetz for coming up from the great state of Florida to be here in the great state of Wyoming today.
All the states are great. Seriously, why can't we just have an average state? I mean, by definition, some of them have to be average.
Not everyone
I'm looking at you, Delaware.
in Washington represents their state as well as Matt Gaetz does. Unfortunately, our own representative would
He's reading this from his phone. So he's got things going on.
rather send our taxpayer
Ah! Babe says, wave at Ocean, everyone.
money to the Middle East instead of keeping it here at home. Wyoming believes in America first, in ending foreign wars, and keeping the government out of our lives.
Wow. Sounds like a Democrat.
Simply put, come next election, Wyoming deserves better. It is my...
What has this guy got on a pole here? You guys see that? What? I don't know what that is. Anyone?
My pleasure to introduce to you Congressman Gaetz.
Maybe a camera? Maybe a 360 camera? Something weird. Oh God, you cannot play Tom Petty. Right now, Tom Petty is rolling over in his grave and...
I love Wyoming!
Wow, look at that forehead. That widow's been dead a long time.
I think if Liz Cheney had a rally with all of her supporters, they could likely meet inside one of the elevators in the Capitol and still have plenty of room for social distancing.
Yeah, that's a funny joke because if you have a lot of people at your rallies, you always win elections. That's how that goes. Huh, he's so happy with himself, so self-satisfied. Oh my goodness.
I want to thank Representative Ocean Andrew. His first day as a state representative was yesterday, and he invited me to be here with all of you today. I'd say that's a pretty good start for the young man.
Why are you shouting, Matt? You have multiple microphones right there. How about that clam chowder in the cafeteria?
I'll confess to you, this is my first time in Wyoming. I've been here for about an hour, and I feel like I already know the place a lot better than your misguided representative, Liz Cheney.
You do not. Just so you know. In other words, do something with your feelings. I'm not going to say what, because I keep getting demonetized, but do something with them.
grandfather was a small town mayor in not too distant North Dakota. He passed before his time, but not before passing into legend. And he passed along a little wisdom to my dad. My old man calls it...
already demonetized on YouTube. Do they have someone specifically watching my channel? Hi, YouTube, if you're watching. There's a bunch of stuff I'd like. With the new YouTube TV app, it's terrible. It stays on the bottom of your phone. Anyway, if that's your department as well, mention that to somebody. Already demonetized. But they're censoring conservatives. That's what's happening. Poor conservatives.
Prairie populism. Do right by your people. Never sell out. Fight their dislikes. And never, never let the powerful run over the weak. Inspire people through courage and tell the truth. The truth is that the establishment in both political parties have teamed up to screw our fellow Americans for generations. Now in Washington, D.C., the private insider club of Joe Biden, Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, Nancy Pelosi, and Liz Cheney.
So now he's attacking Mitch McConnell, by the way, who voted against having the trial.
They want to return our government to its default setting.
No, if I play all the music, I'm gonna get blocked. Not just demonetized. Like right now, people can watch the stream. If I play the music and you come to watch it again, a lot of people watch it later in the day or the next day or whatever, go back to watch it again to try and get me saying something. They won't be able to see it.
Enriching them, making them more powerful at our expense. But we can stop them, and it starts right here in Wyoming.
Says the guy whose dad served in office. It's them. It's those guys. It's not the legacy family of politicians. It's them.
After all, prairie populism is a lot more effective.
There's so many days of summer vacation. What cartoon is that? There's two of them. There's kids. Phineas and Ferb. Ferb and Phineas. My kids would watch it. I had never actually sat down and watched it for very long. But one of them has a forehead like that. Phineas and Ferb, right? Hold on.
Active when we join together across party lines, getting rid of those old dogmas. Our battle is no longer just Republican versus Democrat. It's not just red team versus blue team.
No, I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking of the wrong cartoon. There's some cartoon where the character has hair that just goes like whoa, way back. Like, I know what it is. Hold on.
Not. We got to put America first. Those are the battles. Those are the old battles of yesteryear. But people have always come to the great frontiers of Wyoming to win the future. That's why I'm here. We're going to see a better future for our people. We're going to draw it closer to us, and we are going to ensure that we get better representation all over this great country to fight for the men and women who have made America great. We deserve American greatness, not managed decline.
Home Movies is the name of the cartoon. Home Movies. That's his hair.
And in that battle, it's the establishment against the rest of us. And sure, they control big media, big corporations, big tech.
It's gone from the immigrants to the establishment now. They're against us, and we must fight against them. And please give me your money.
Big defense contractors, and they walk around Washington, D.C. with big checkbooks and even bigger egos. But we have something that is far more precious and far more powerful. We control the true spirit and identity of America.
That is not more powerful than the House, the Senate, and the executive branch. I'm sorry, Rick. That's just not the way that it works. Oh, look at that spirit.
USA! We can beat them, and you know what? If you want to prove that you have the power.
They've got signs saying impeach Liz Cheney. You can't. You can't impeach a sitting congressperson. You can expel them, you cannot impeach them.
Defeat Liz Cheney in this upcoming election, and Wyoming will bring Washington to
Trump called him Rick 5 times, so I call him Rick.
its knees.
With him right there.
You see, Washington, D.C. mythologizes the establishment power brokers like Liz Cheney for climbing in a deeply corrupt game.
This is a member of his party, by the way. That's what he's doing right now. He flew almost as far as you can fly in the country, from Florida, I assume he was in Florida, from Florida up to Wyoming to brag on one of his own party members. That's what the Republican Party is doing, which is why I say, don't impeach Trump. Let them eat their own.
But there are more of us than there
Sorry, don't convict Trump. They've already impeached him twice.
are of them, and we see the fakes and the phonies more clearly than ever before.
I think that's actually maybe an audio recording device. I don't know.
They've suppressed American wages by allowing unchecked illegal immigration. They've hollowed out the towns and villages in our
They've hollered out?
country. Legal immigration. They've hollowed out the towns and villages in our country with trade deals that enrich China at the expense of our people.
You're like 6 years too late on this, buddy.
We were told
My volume's low. My volume's never low. I never have to adjust my own volume. Although, this guy's pretty loud.
by Liz Cheney and all of the globalists that if we accepted globalism, we would export
Liz Cheney, third in power in the House, Republican, is now a globalist.
America's best crops, best products, best services. But instead, all too often, we are exporting America's bravest patriots to die in foreign distant lands. A nation that sends its best to go fight in the worst places in the world should not send its worst to be representatives in the United States Congress. But we are here in happy spirit and joy because we do not have to accept failure or losing. We do not have to be condemned to some grim fate. We're Americans. And if there's a fight for the soul of this country, we intend to win it. Our fellow Americans aren't going to be living like the folks in the Portland, Oregon Autonomous Zone or the Chaz.
Hold on. Did Portland have an autonomous zone? Didn't it last like an hour and they shut that down right away? He's thinking of Seattle.
Fellow Americans aren't going to accept New York's silly lockdowns that constrain freedom.
Silly lockdowns with their rising rate of COVID infections? It's just silly. They're just you guys are being silly. I can't hear. Speak up. I can't hear you through the coughing.
Our fellow Americans aren't going to live on the feces-stained sidewalks of San Francisco.
And they do. And guess what? You can just hose that off. By the way, San Francisco has smelled like pee forever. It's true. I'm sorry. San Francisco smells like pee. Much of it, anyway. Especially in the summer.
No, President Donald...
Other areas of San Francisco, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But I remember walking up and down the hills in San Francisco and thinking, this place smells like a lot like urine. It wasn't because it was smelling like urine. It was the smell of urine. Fun fact.
Donald J. Trump showed us that with strong borders, with a focused foreign policy, with less regulation, with less involvement from Washington, and with lower taxes, America's best days are still yet to come. Don't you ever let some spoiled celebrity or athlete or socialist politician ever tell you otherwise.
I'm not any of those things.
America's not just an idea. It's not just a constitution. America is our home. And we must protect our...
It's the bricks. They make their bricks out of urine. There's also a plant that smells like urine. I don't know if you guys know about this, but I don't know the name of the plant. Someone's going to know the name of the plant. It smells a little bit like urine. And people plant it near their houses. You walk up to the front of the house and you're like, oh, they must have a dog. They must have a lot of dogs. No. Yeah, the reminder, go ahead and like the stream if you want to. Interact with it, chat, whatever, share it. Actually, sharing is the best thing you can do. Share with a friend. Share it up on the Twitter. I don't think this broadcast is going to happen for too long today. We'll cover the rally. I don't know what happens after the rally. If something else has happened in the world, I'll be honest with you people. I just went and hit some balls. I was playing tennis. And then I showered, and then I came here, and I was like, oh, okay, he's finally talking. Because we already did a broadcast at 10 o'clock this morning. Now it is almost 1 o'clock Pacific time. And that's almost 3 hours of stuff that I didn't do all the time of. So let's keep moving here. I don't know why I'm talking. Shut up, Kevin.
One thing America is not some
yogurt
vaccine to global tyranny that we have to administer through decades of military occupations in foreign lands. No,
I was going to say that next.
Success means we honor how special America is. And it also means that we have to see our leaders for who they truly are. Now, Liz Cheney taunts me for wearing makeup in my television appearances. Now, makeup only hides the slightest imperfections of the skin. It does very little to conceal the soulless corruption of Washington, D.C.
Dude, you just insulted yourself. She makes fun of you for wearing makeup. You just said that makeup does little to hide the soulless corruption of Washington, D.C. You're the one. You're the subject right now of that dig. Can't argue with him.
You know, it's pretty easy for me to get a little makeup off my shirt. Far more difficult for Liz Cheney to get the blood off her hands after sending America's best to foreign lands to die for a knowable gain and personal profit.
Actually, blood just washes off with regular soap and water. Makeup usually takes some baby oil or some makeup remover or something, depending on the makeup.
80% of
So he's wrong on that. You're welcome for the fact check.
Taliban fighters have never been more than 20 miles for their own home. And so it's a little confusing to me why Liz Cheney's always fighting in Congress to spend more money in Kandahar and in Arabia than in the great state of Wyoming. But maybe it shouldn't surprise...
Arabia? Is she going after Aladdin? Where does he think he is?
...us all that much.
Yeah.
In 2016, in that election cycle, Liz Cheney announced her candidacy for Congress from Wyoming...
But by the way, Trump invited the Taliban to come meet him at Camp David. So I don't know that Rick really knows all of what he's talking of.
Virginia.
Of which he's talking.
How out of touch! How untouchable she must think she is. Now, the neocons say we gotta fight them abroad so we don't have to fight them at home. Well, maybe we have to fight them abroad because we are abroad so much. You know, I was going to say, maybe...
No. I don't necessarily agree with the sentiment, but that's not what that means, nor is what you're saying correct, Matt.
We ought to fight...
I'm glad you put the maybe in front of there, because it's wrong. You're wrong.
The neocons at home, so we don't have to fight them in Washington, D.C. But that's the problem...
Washington, D.C. is home, okay? It's part of America, Matt.
Isn't it? Because the neocons are at home in Washington.
Oh, here it is. Hold on, guys. This is important. Here's the thing. Watch it. It comes up here. The thing on the stick comes up right by the Right Side Broadcasting Network logo. Here we go.
Isn't it? Because...
What? Oh, that's a GoPro. He's got a GoPro. A 40-foot stick. Specifically used for filming The Grinch, I guess.
The neocons...
Yeah, there it is. That's a GoPro, and I think that's the lens. I think I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's a 360 GoPro?
Are at home in Washington, D.C.
Well, yeah, all Americans are at home in Washington, D.C. It is the cradle of our democracy. That, the one that was attacked the other day with you there. And that now you think no one should face any consequences. Unity!
Liz Cheney and I came to Congress in the same class, but she was already a master of the ways of the Beltway in ways I will never be. Because she's lived there for all but about 2 years of her life. That was a little bit of a problem when she wanted to run for the United States Senate here in Wyoming. She claimed to be a resident of the state for 10 years based on a fishing license. Of course, she wasn't, and she quickly withdrew. By my count, that's the last time a Cheney had a viable exit strategy. I think your U.S.
Yeah, that's actually not a terrible joke. Solid dig, Rick.
Senator, your U.S. Senator Loomis said it best. It's a unique strategy to live your entire life elsewhere and then come to a state a year before you're going to announce that you're going to run for that state's highest office. I think Senator Loomis is right. Liz Cheney is not Wyoming. But Cheney came back. The neocons
Todd's friend Lawrence went to Arabia one time.
are nothing if not persistent. Now in 2016, I announced my campaign for Congress in Florida's 1st Congressional District. I represent the district that has the highest concentration of active duty military and veterans in America, and we love our military and veterans.
The suckers and losers who didn't vote for Trump? Okay.
You see where I come from.
Ben, why are you yelling?
Military families, they aren't just a great feature of our community, they are the essential ingredient of our community. And I see every day the cost of the wars that Liz Cheney has advocated for. I see it in the tearful goodbyes in airports, the marriages that are destroyed.
So now we have the GOP, the anti-war GOP. What is happening?
The parenting that's interrupted, the drug abuse, the veteran suicide, lost limbs, lost minds, lost lives, lost hope.
Amen.
We are here in the cowboy state. Now I understand that, the media, they used to call Bush.
If I was there, I'd just be yelling out, I just can't quit you!
Cheney cowboys abroad, but I think that's a slur. Because the cowboys I know, sure, they're tough and they're brave, but they're also judicious and smart and thoughtful and tender and
He just call us Jews?
gentle when the cause comes. Not exactly what you think about when you think of disloyal Liz Cheney. Now the real cowboy.
Why is he attacking Liz Cheney like this? What is the point? Well, I'll tell you why. Fundraising. By the way, the Josh Hawley, our friend Josh Hawley, who tried to overturn the government and is still at it. The reason being is that even though he's lost a few $1 million in corporate sponsorship, he has made up a ton of millions of dollars from organizations like the Senate Conservative Campaign. He's taken about 3 times as much as he's lost. So all of his going on TV and saying, I've been silenced, etc., etc., his campaign is being paid hundreds of millions of dollars for him to do that. It's disgusting. It's all about money.
Boys, I guess.
Oh, also, I forgot to say, he's an asshole. Also that.
They fought Indians so that they could use the land. But what are America's soldiers even fighting for that Liz Cheney sends all around the world?
What are the
American cowboys? I guess they fought Indians so that they could use the land. But what are America's
genocide? Yeah, okay.
Soldiers disloyal Liz Cheney? Now the real cowboys, I guess they fought Indians so that they could use the land. But what are America's soldiers even fighting for that Liz Cheney sends all around the world? What are the great benefits that we all get from our misadventures in Syria and Afghanistan and Somalia?
Yeah, Ben seems to be okay. He's using a lot of caps. That's okay. He's just trying to make his point.
That a lot of Americans couldn't even point to on a map. You see, real cowboys, they would have found greener pastures than Afghanistan, and it wouldn't have taken them 20 years to do it.
So send the guy with the cowboy hat to Afghanistan? Is that what what is he even talking about?
We are here in Wyoming, and in a lot of ways...
So American soldiers suck, and we should have sent cowboys. Matt Gaetz, ladies and gentlemen.
This feels like the most American of states.
It is not. All of the states are equally American.
Self-reliant. On the frontier. Maybe a little hard to get to. And so how is it then that Wyoming has such a disappointing congresswoman? I guess you have to ask yourself the question, why is it that America has such a
I would bet good money that 90 to 95% of the people in that audience are Republicans, and they voted for Liz Cheney.
Disappointing Congress. Because
You're right, David Mickelson makes a good point. New Mexico is mostly Mexico. In fact, it is 75% Mexico.
In a lot of ways, Liz Cheney is exactly like Congress. Deeply unpopular and owned by special interests. Matter of fact, last year, in the year 2020, Liz Cheney raised more money from political action committees than she raised from actual human beings. Think about that. More money from PACs than from people.
I'm guessing Matt did the same, but I'm not going to check.
She works for them, not you. She does their bidding, not yours. I stand before you, the
traitor. Somebody in the audience just called Liz Cheney a traitor.
Only Republican in Congress who refuses all donations from political action committees. Their money is no good with me.
Oh, I guess wrong, if that's the case.
The American people should be our one and only special interest. You know, Liz Cheney calls herself a leader in Washington, but to me, being a leader does not mean winning an election amongst a bunch of politicians. Being a leader doesn't even mean that you've lived a flawless personal life. I can tell you, I sure haven't. I'd probably say not even former President Trump has. Leadership doesn't mean backing a Nancy Pelosi fueled impeachment by reflex. You know, there's basically two things that Liz Cheney has done in the United States Congress. Frustrate the agenda of President Trump and sell out to the forever war machine that blows.
Matt Gaetz accepted, I just looked it up very quickly, he accepted $15,000 from L3 Harris Technologies. That's a PAC. The Republican Conservative PAC, $5,000. A real estate PAC, $1,000. So just a complete lie. That's on Open Secrets, by the way. If you want to know where the money is going, go to opensecrets.org. There's a bunch of money he's accepted from PACs. So just, there you go.
Stuff up that nobody cares about, that rebuilds stuff nobody wants, and that borrows money from China to do it. All the while, defense contractors get rich, lobbyists get powerful, Congress members get reelected, and our bravest patriots, the best among us, die and are maimed on the battlefield. Our position is consistent. Liz Cheney's is not. And how can you even call yourself a representative when you don't represent the will of the people? I mean, that's what all the neocons...
In case you're wondering who L3 Harris is, they are a military company that specializes in Navy contracts of jamming satellites and stuff. So it's a military industrial, and they were his largest contributor from super PACs. or just PACs. Either one doesn't really make a difference.
Ask about the Arab dictators, I figure maybe we ought to ask the same question of a Beltway bureaucrat turned fake cowgirl who supported an impeachment that is deeply unpopular in the state of Wyoming. Our position is remarkably consistent. And Liz Cheney's kind of a hypocrite on the issue of regime change, I would say. Like, she supports regime change in the Middle East. She supported Nancy Pelosi's regime change impeachment of Donald Trump. But when a majority of the Republicans in Congress say this person no longer speaks for us, all of a sudden Liz Cheney's against regime change. I think our position is the right one. Remove troops from Germany and Korea when they have served their purpose. Remove troops from Afghanistan where there is no purpose. Remove troops from Syria where there wasn't even a purpose in the first place. And remove Liz Cheney as the leader of the Republican conference. Because based on the numbers I've seen, Liz Cheney is less popular among Republicans in her own state
Then Dick Cheney has shooting ability?
Muammar Gaddafi was among the Libyans.
Oh, okay.
I mean, hold on, I gotta get this. So,
nearly the Trump organization, the Trump campaign, had a poll done just recently. And 75% of GOP voters have an unfavorable view of Liz Cheney now that she's impeached Trump. And 60% of all voters have an unfavorable view of Liz Cheney. And the poll was commissioned by Trump.
Had a chance to communicate with President Trump yesterday. He sends his love. He loves you all so much. And President Trump is going to keep fighting for this country with every breath that he has.
Well, I mean, on the golf course or?
But he wanted me to share with
Ben, we covered the Marjorie Taylor Greene, David Hogg thing yesterday, yeah.
You the results from a poll that was just released.
I don't know why they're having this rally. The guy Ocean, the new state congressperson, he invited Matt Gaetz up to do this for some reason. So Matt is now up there. They're trying to take over the Republican Party in the House is what they're trying to do. They're trying to oust Liz Cheney and turn the Republican Party into the Patriot Party in the House. That is the goal here.
Yesterday, 70% of all Wyoming voters believe that the impeachment trial is unconstitutional. Two-thirds of all voters in Wyoming disapprove of Liz Cheney's vote to impeach President Trump. Almost 60% approve of the Republicans removing Liz Cheney from Republican leadership.
We actually have a special phone call.
Oh, hold on.
Hold on. Is it President Trump? I hope it's President Trump. What if it's Liz Cheney? Rick, sit down.
A man who loves Wyoming.
Wait, there's music playing. Stop it. Shut up. Here we go.
Wyoming, who loves to hunt and fish. How about a word for Donald Trump Jr.?
Donald Trump Jr. Oh, the most disappointing phone call I've had since the syphilis results. Oh, boy.
John, what do you have to share with the people of Wyoming?
What's going on, guys? I told you. So, Wyoming, it seems like based on the numbers that Matt just talked about, it seems like Liz Cheney's stand
is lower than, it's worse than her father's shooting skills? Is that your joke?
deliverables there are only slightly worse than her father's shooting skills.
Yeah! Woo!
Republican leadership, they're supposed to do a couple of things. They're supposed to raise money to help the party. They're supposed to recruit new members. They're supposed to lead. And I've been pretty involved for the last few years, and I haven't seen Liz Cheney do any of those things. So it's time to have a change at the top. It's time to have people that are going to start representing the people.
He does sound a little bit like evil Kermit.
Not their own agendas, not their own nonsense, but their constituency. And since the people of Wyoming are clearly not thrilled with Liz Cheney, let's find someone who can replace her and actually do that job well. The important thing to remember is let's find someone good and let's find one person and back it. The only way that never-ending war Liz Cheney stays in there is if 20 people run, 20 people split up the vote, and she gets a couple of the rhino losers together to actually take the biggest number. So let's be careful about who it is. Don't just back the first person that comes along. Let's vet these guys and find the antithesis of Liz Cheney. Let's find someone who's for America and against wars. That's for the working man and against the special interests. Let's find exactly the opposite of her, and let's back that person fully. But let's not make that decision today. We have some time. Let's find the right one. Let's not split this vote up and blow our opportunity to get rid of a rhino.
Let's not split this vote up and get rid of an opportunity to get rid of a rhino and blow an opportunity to get rid of a rhino. Let's not split the vote, says the guy to the Republican Party trying to get rid of the Republican. They're trying to primary Liz Cheney, which means that before you get to run for office against a Democrat and some other people, you have to win your party's primary. So they're trying to find somebody so right-wing that they beat Liz Cheney in the primary, and Liz Cheney's out, is what they're trying to do.
Now, there are some who've only sought the removal of Liz Cheney following impeachment, but I'll share with you,
So no Trump phone call. I miss him so much.
OG on the Team Cheney removal movement. I called for her ouster when she went after one of America's best congressmen, Thomas Massie. Now, Thomas might not be as well known as I am, but he's far smarter. A Kentucky genius.
I could have filled in any name at that point.
Went to MIT, helped develop and advance virtual reality, of all things. I think Congress is probably the worst of virtual reality.
Thank you for your time.
But you know, with Thomas, he does stuff that in Washington seems very weird, very strange, very peculiar. You see, when the leadership in both parties team up for trillions of dollars in spending without so much as a recorded vote, Thomas objects to make Congress actually show up and vote before they can sell out the American people. When presidents of both parties have tried to do an end run around Congress to suck our nation into new endless wars, Thomas Massie votes with the Constitution, not with party leadership. And when senior government officials in our intelligence community spy on Americans, break the law, and lie to Congress about it, Thomas Massie exposes them to protect the rest of us. Now, Thomas may be eccentric and different, but I think we need more brilliant people in Congress, not less. But see, there is no room.
Fewer people.
For the liberty-loving contingent of our movement in Liz Cheney's Republican Party. When Massie got crossways with Trump, Liz backed a primary challenger, and Thomas won with over 80% of the vote. I welcome the libertarians, the prairie populists, the America First crowd. And I think we'll have to probably forgive each other of our preferences and our foils and follies, our peculiarities and our peccadillos, because it is going to take every one of us working together, driving our agenda and saving this great country, the greatest country that has ever existed in all of human history. I think we're better than the mean girls style of politics of Liz Cheney that would stuff the nerds into lockers and question the masculinity of her critics.
Liz Cheney won Wyoming with 69% of the vote, by the way.
In 1988, when George H.W. Bush was accepting the Republican nomination for president, he said, "I am a quiet man."
What?
And I hear the
Hold on.
quiet president. When George H.W. Bush... In 1988, when George H.W. Bush was accepting the Republican nomination for president,
Yeah.
he said, "I am a quiet man, and I hear the quiet people of this country. Well, America first, we are not a quiet movement, and I am not a quiet man."
So we're going after George Bush Sr. now, are we? Reagan's vice president. Okay, Republicans. The party of Lincoln. Something's happened in the chat room. I don't know what. Have at it, guys.
I may be a canceled man in some corners, but I hear the forgotten, the canceled, the downtrodden,
Where is he canceled?
and those who believe that they need a voice in our government that actually speaks for them. And what I hear is that the silent majority is getting louder every day.
I thought he was going to say getting laid every day.
Now, Liz Cheney denounces me for being on television. She who was once a paid television contributor. You know, hey, at least they don't have to pay me. I'll go anywhere. I'll be on any network. I'll take on any host to defend America and her people. That is what our movement requires.
You are welcome on the show. Anytime, Rick. I will even call you Matt. How about that? You are welcome, Matt.
Wyoming is a great state. You are great people. You are real America. We are in a battle for the soul of the Republican Party, and I intend to win it.
I thought we were also in a battle for the soul of the nation, and you were going to win that one too. That's a lot of soul battles.
You can help me.
I just need you to stop yelling at me, okay?
You can help me break a corrupt system. You can send a representative who actually represents you. And you can send Liz Cheney home.
Well, she does represent them. I mean, she won 70% of the vote in Wyoming, so...
Back home to Washington, D.C. Thank you all so much. God bless you. God bless our great country. It's going to be a long 2 years, but let's go get them.
Okay, then what? What happens now? USA chant. Hold on. Let's jump forward here.
We have seen
Born in the USA.
talk not necessarily this through for the response of he called the Republicans.
We can't listen to him.
Troops in line here. A very
One, because they're playing a song in the background, and I'll get a copyright strike. Two, because we can't listen to him. He did the My Pillow interview the other day. They're sponsored by My Pillow, by the way.
very popular for the crowd.
If you want a discount on My Pillow, use code Sedition. Sedition45.
Agree with you on that. They are years. Shade him of what about.
They've made Liz Cheney posters with the Ghostbuster symbol over her face. Okay.
You us on Gab, Telegrams on
Yeah, this is an anti-American song, by the way. Good point, Colonel.
fire.
Went
to
off to
60
Vietnam. They're still there. He's all gone. There it is. My Pillow.
And percent product.
Okay.
Until next time, you can follow us on all the social media. Goodbye. God.
Okay, they're wrapping up. So that was that, kids. Anything else major happened in the last few minutes here? Somebody let me know if some breaking news just happened. Let's go check out Kaspan and see if anything we got a press briefing to look at. You guys want to look at the press briefing? Is there a producer in the room? Somebody at producer or executive producer level? Should we do the press briefing, or are we already bored by those? We can just skip forward right to the thing is I'm out of drinky here. So what we'll do is, okay, Marcy wants to. I'm going to make Marcy a producer just because she donated so much money to the charity. So yeah, okay, and producer Rich is in the executive producer Rich is in the room, so he wants to do it. So we'll do that. Let me see. What we're gonna do is we'll listen to just a little bit and see if C-SPAN is doing that stupid pausing thing. If they're doing the pausing thing, then by the way, I noticed this right away. Right away, my mother would comment on the color of that and the fact that she has red hair. The color of her jacket with the combination of the red hair. My mother would have a comment on that. I don't know what that comment would be, but that's what my mother would do. So we'll listen to this, and we'll pump up the volume. Pump up. Oh, it's already way up. The C-SPAN volume's already way up. So let me turn it down for you guys. Hold on. If it seems to be working, then we will stay with it. I will go refill my drink here because I'm out of drinks, and I'll come back and we'll keep going with it. And if C-SPAN's being weird, then we'll go find it on MSNBC or CNN or whatever. I really wish C-SPAN had a time code on it because it's easier to find.
Good afternoon.
By the way, I wrote to C-SPAN. It's not that big of an organization. And I said, hey, what's with the wacky pausing that your videos have always done when you... Why? No response. And this was like 2 weeks ago. I don't know. What's going on with C-SPAN? C-SPAN, if you're watching, I really have a problem with the long pauses on the replays. I don't get why. I don't get why that happens.
Afternoon and happy Thursday. Before we get into questions, and I promise ample time for questions today, I wanted to share just a few updates with you. First today, President Biden signed 2 executive actions that will begin to restore and strengthen Americans' access to quality, affordable health care.
C-SPAN has not responded. Let me just check my email before I brag on C-SPAN here.
Specifically, he directed agencies to re-examine rules and other policies that limit Americans' access to health care and consider additional actions to strengthen Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act so they can continue to provide access to life-saving care for millions of Americans.
Good. 9 days ago, C-SPAN, I just got an automated response saying your case will be reviewed and receive a response regarding order, research, and video player inquiries. Be assured that all comments and suggestions are recorded and reviewed by our producers and staff. That was 9 days ago. All right, I'm going to get a refill on my drinky here, and I will be right back. She's not my future girlfriend. She's married and with 3 kids.
As a result, the Department of Health and Human Services will open healthcare.gov for a special enrollment period from February 15th to May 15th. And just as a reminder, the prior administration only had it open for 6 weeks, so this is double that length of time. Starting February 15th, Americans without health insurance can go to healthcare.gov and sign up for health coverage, often at little or no cost. The president also rescinded the global gag rule, which bars international nonprofits that which bars international nonprofits that provide abortion counseling or referrals from receiving U.S. funding. And he directed the Department of Health and Human Services to take immediate action to consider whether to rescind regulations under its Title X family planning program. These also, of course, build on the actions the president has taken to put equity at the heart of his administration's response to COVID-19. Second, I wanted to update you on the amendment being made to the Public Readiness and Emergency Preparedness Act, or PrEP Act, declaration on the COVID-19 response. HHS will amend the current PrEP Act declaration to permit recently retired doctors and nurses to administer COVID-19 vaccines, and to permit anyone currently licensed to vaccinate within their home state and to administer shots across state lines. So we've talked a lot in here about the need for not just vaccines, but vaccinators, and this is an effort to put more vaccinators in the field. A number of states have already taken action to ease licensing requirements to expand the vaccinator workforce, but this nationwide action will make that easier across the board. The amendment will help us in our vaccination efforts with the continued goal of 100 million shots in 100 days. Also today, I just wanted to point you to, which you may have all seen, the statement by National Economic Council Director Brian Deese about the quarterly GDP and weekly unemployment claims. And finally, a note on the Vice President's schedule. Today she's doing local TV interviews and meeting with editorial boards in West Virginia and Arizona to discuss the American Rescue Plan. So with that, go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. I've got two, one foreign, one domestic. I wanted to ask you about the Pakistani Supreme Court's decision to release the man that was convicted of the killing of journalist Daniel Pearl. Does the White House have a response, and are there plans to ask for his extradition to the U.S. for a trial?
The United States is outraged by the Pakistani Supreme Court's decision to affirm the acquittals of those responsible for Wall Street Journal reporter Daniel Pearl's kidnapping and brutal murder, which shocked the world's conscience in 2002. This decision to exonerate and release Sheikh and the other suspects is an affront to terrorism victims everywhere, including in Pakistan. We recognize past Pakistani actions to try to hold Mr. Pearl's murderers accountable, and we do note that as of right now, Omar Sheikh remains in detention in Pakistan under national security authorities. But we call on the Pakistani government to expeditiously review its legal options, including allowing the United States to prosecute Sheikh for the brutal murder of an American citizen and journalist. And we're committed to securing justice for Daniel Pearl's family and holding terrorists anywhere accountable for their heinous crimes. And the State Department, I know, also just put out a statement.
I wanted to ask about this flurry of executive orders we've seen. President Biden ran on a pledge to restore unity. He promised on Inauguration Day he'd be a president for all Americans, but since he's gotten into office, he's been largely acting unilaterally. I mean, we saw a record-breaking number of executive orders. He has not yet met with lawmakers on Capitol Hill, and we're not even quite sure who he's talking to on Capitol Hill. So what do you say to Americans who are watching all of these executive orders? And does the White House think that this is the best way to make policy, considering an opposing president could come back in 4 years from now and erase all the work he's done with the stroke of a pen?
Well, there's a lot to unpack there, so let me try my best. First, the president put forward a large and bold COVID relief package, $1.9 trillion, that is meant to address the challenges the American people are facing and the dual crises that that the country is facing, from the pandemic to an economic recession as a result. That package has the support of the majority of Americans, according to every poll that we have seen publicly released. So I would say first that part of unifying the country is addressing the problems that the American people are facing and working to reach out to Democrats and Republicans to do exactly that. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's had calls with Democratic and Republican members of Congress, many of them. He's doing more calls today, but he's doing calls regularly throughout the week and has done them back to when he was inaugurated and even before then. But he's also calling Democratic and Republican mayors and governors to talk to them about what their needs are on the ground. So his objective as president is to deliver on what he promised in his inaugural address, govern for all of the American people by focusing on addressing the issues that people are facing that aren't just hitting blue states or red states, aren't just hitting Democrats or Republicans, but are crises that we are all facing. And I think the polls will tell you that people are responding to that. In terms of executive actions, he also ran with a commitment to take steps immediately to address the pain and suffering that the American people were feeling. And that includes overturning some of the detrimental, harmful, and at times immoral policies and actions of the prior administration. But he's the first to tell you, as he said many times publicly, he's not going to take executive action alone. That's why he's put forward a number of packages that he's actively working with members of both parties to move forward on.
Follow-up, if the issue is that Congress is so broken that he needs to work quickly unilaterally to get some of this done, then does he support the move towards reconciliation that Senate Democrats are talking about right now? It's essentially the same idea.
Well, I didn't say that was his point of view. Those are your words, not mine. I would say his view is actually that these policies, the policies in his COVID relief package, are policies that are not Democratic or Republican. Everybody wants their kids to go back to school. Everybody thinks that there should be more shots in the arms of Americans. Everybody thinks that the American people should get more relief and a bridge in this period of time that is such a challenge. So what he's saying is, here's my proposal. Here's how I think. Here's how economists, medical experts, health experts think we can address these crises we all agree are impacting all of our constituents across the country. Let's have a conversation about it. That's what he's doing. At the same time, he's not going to delay action that would help bring relief to the public and help bring access to affordable health care to the American people, help ensure women have access to reproductive health as well. So, there are a lot of steps he's taken over the past couple of weeks. He's not going to delay actions that require immediate action, that he can bring that relief immediately, but he's also going to work with Congress. He's proposed multiple bills to do that. Go ahead, Mary.
Following up on that, Democratic leaders on the Hill appear to already be eyeing reconciliation. We heard Leader Chuck Schumer today saying that they're moving ahead with or without Republicans. Does this undermine your calls for bipartisanship, and are you urging them to give this more time?
Well, we're all very close to this here, reconciliation and all the terminology in Washington. Everybody who's watching may not be. Reconciliation is a parliamentary process. It's a way to get legislation.
Thank you. Good. She's going to explain it a little bit.
Legislation through. It's a way to get relief to the American people. The president wants this to be a bipartisan package, regardless of the mechanisms. Republicans can still vote for a package, even if it goes through with reconciliation. There's no blood oath anybody signs. They're able to support it regardless. And he wants this to be a bipartisan package. He's listening to Democrats and Republicans. We all are, to ensure that that's what it looks like at the end of the day.
But it doesn't seem that you can get both the speed you want and the bipartisanship at the same time. So which is the priority?
I don't think that's true. We refute that notion. These challenges that the American public are facing are urgent. People don't know how to plan to have food on their table now. They're worried about whether their kids can go back to school in a couple months now. They're worried about getting the vaccine now. And those are issues that Republican elected officials are hearing, Democratic elected officials are hearing from their constituents, and we're confident that people are going to listen to them and come together to support a bipartisan bill.
And just one other question on COVID. The South Africa variant is now been discovered to be here in the U.S. You, of course, have taken steps to ban non-U.S. citizens from South Africa from traveling here. That ban goes into effect on Saturday. Can you explain why Saturday? Why not sooner?
Why? Well, the testing requirements we put in place that you noted were put in place for all departures, including South Africa. They take place. They will be put into effect at noon on January 26th. So this actually goes into effect Friday night, fair, to Saturday morning, close, and was put into place very quickly over the course of a week to stand up the necessary process. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to put these restrictions in place, to work with airlines, work with regulatory authorities to get them in place. We did that as quickly as possible, and before there was a reported case, of course, because we've seen the reports. And
that's just simply not true. Not true at all. When Trump banned flights from China, he did it January 31st, and they were done by the 2nd at 5 p.m. So you can stop flights sooner, or at least people traveling on those flights.
We listen to health and medical experts. Go ahead, Caitlin.
So given that Democrats have kind of indicated they will move forward with or without Republican support, would President Biden sign a bill that only Democrats voted for?
Look at that hair. Look at that hair, everybody. It's perfect. Always perfect.
Well, we're not quite there. That's getting us a few steps ahead of where we are now. He continues to believe that this should be, and will be a bipartisan bill that receives support from Democrats and Republicans. And he's having conversations with and listening to leaders and members of both parties to assure that we get to exactly that place.
But if we got to that place where only Democrats have voted for it, is he okay with that?
We'll have a conversation at that point. We're not there yet.
Okay, so second question on, given all the volatility surrounding Wall Street and GameStop, what is the Biden administration doing to protect the average American investor if there is going to be potentially a major market correction coming?
Well, the SEC put out a statement, I believe it was today, or in the last 24 hours, I should say. We'd refer you to that. We're not going to have additional comment from here.
Nothing beyond just monitoring it. Has he had any conversations with economic officials about what's going on?
We don't. He's briefed by his economic team frequently, but I don't have anything more to read out for you. Go ahead.
Is the SEC, DOJ, or broader administration specifically looking at Robinhood and other platforms' decision to prevent retail investors from purchasing certain stocks like GameStop?
I don't have anything more on this aside from to point you to the SEC statement.
Okay, just one more question.
Yeah, so if somebody wants to kind of talk about what's going on with GameStop and AMC and stuff like that, I can explain it quickly. It'll be convoluted, but I think I'll be able to explain it in a way that people can grasp. But the worst thing about, the one thing that is worrisome about everything that's going on right now is that Robinhood and others, brokerages basically, have stopped regular Americans from being able to trade, sell, buy particular stocks. Whereas large organizations, etc., can't, which is wrong. Because why restrict anybody from being able to make those trades? Yeah, you're going to damage some hedge fund who's short sold those stocks. Short selling isn't really short selling, it's short borrowing. But anyway, that's, let's see. So LP wants to hear about it. Okay, so I'll try and be as succinct as possible with this. When you short a stock, what you're doing is you're borrowing some stock, let's say at $10. Let's say a stock is worth $10. You borrow that stock from your broker. You don't actually buy it. Now, at some point, you're going to have to give that stock back to the borrower. So just keep that in mind. You're just borrowing the stock. You're also putting down a margin on that stock. So it's a $10 stock. Let's say you're putting down $5 on that stock, okay? Just so that the broker has a little bit of coverage. Now, the broker's going to charge you a couple of things. For example, if the stock pays a dividend, which is when you own a stock and they have a good year, they give you $2 for having that stock. That's your profit from that stock, but the stock might still remain at the same price, but let's just make it easy. So the dividends, because you're borrowing the stock, the broker gets those dividends. You don't get those dividends. You're waiting for it to do something. The other thing is you're paying interest on that stock. The value of that stock, you might be paying 2%, you might be paying 20%, but you're paying every year, you're paying interest on that stock, okay? So what you're hoping happens is that $10 stock falls in price, that company loses value, and that when you get to, say, $6, you then can get that difference. You give the borrower back the stock, you take that $4 difference because you've borrowed that stock at 10. And it's a ridiculous system, but it's a way of making money when stocks lose value. However, if you've made all this, borrowed all this stuff, and you've, bet that the stock's going to go down to $6, if the stock goes up in value, it can go up in values as much as possible. So it can go up to, from $10, it can go up to $100. And you're responsible for that difference because you have to buy that stock and give it back to the broker. So it's weird. So I hope that makes sense to people. Basically, short has very high risk because if it goes down, you can make some profit from it. But if it goes up, it can continue to go up. You might be able to make 100% or 200% if it totally zeroes out. But you can't make more than 200% on most trades, on most short sales. Sometimes you can. The bigger people can make money all the time. That's just how it works. Now, if that goes up to $15, if it started at 10 and you've only got $5 down, you have to make up that margin. It's called a margin call. And now you have to pay that extra and give that stock back, which costs you money. But if that thing goes above 15 and your margin, the margin call is made, and I better buy it at 15 to cover my losses, and I've taken a hit, but but what if that stock goes to 100? Now you don't have to, the margin call is, okay, the margin call kicks in and you're like, okay, great, but the stock has gone up so much. So what happened is that the folks on Reddit at the Reddit group, what is it, Stock Market Bets or something like that, they noticed that a particular hedge fund had a lot of short sells, a lot of short bets on GameStop and then AMC. And they said, hey, let's all get together and buy that stock and squeeze them. Now, what a short squeeze is let's say that the Scaramucci's hedge fund has said, we bet that GameStop is going to go down to $5 from $10, okay? So we're going to make that bet and we're going to borrow a ton of stock from our brokerage and we're going to give them the money, we're going to give them, but we're thinking that stock is going to fall pretty quickly. But if a whole bunch of people start buying that stock, it drives the price way up, which is what happened with GameStop and now with AMC. And I don't know whether there's been a new one today or not. So now the hedge fund company that had the short has to give back all the money they have to buy the stock and give it to the broker. They have to buy the stock at the current value, which might be $300. We can look that up. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what it is now. GME is the code for GameStop. So we'll look that up and talk about volatility. This is a single day. Today it opened at 263. Right now it's down at 215. So if you jumped into the market this morning, unless you sold at about 10 a.m., at 469, or again, this is crazy. So it went up to 410. So it started the day at 263. It went up to 410, dropped down to 132, went all the way up to 492, and then just plummeted. So something happened right about 1:55 p.m. where it spiked from 235. It's just craziness right now. This is not the way stocks are supposed to work. But keep in mind, this is what can happen when you live in a faith-based economy. But this is not the worst thing. We'll get to that. Here's over 5 days. So essentially, back on the 25th, it was worth $64. A couple of hours ago, it was worth $469. So a lot of people made a lot of money if they sold at that point. But as soon as they started selling, and this may be something on Reddit that they're doing, they might agree, like, let's wait till it gets to this, and we're going to say go. And someone online says, do it, sell. And then they sell. And it plummets in price. Still above what they bought it for originally, still well above the margin call. Because if these people bought it 5 days ago at $45 or borrowed it at $45, but their position was $20, so they thought it would drop down to $20. Now, something that they borrowed at $45 is costing them $469 if they buy it at that point. So it's a wacky game. It's insanity. The worst part is Robinhood, which is basically an online brokerage. I have it on my phone. It's an app. It allows you to buy and sell stock. Said, no more. Guys, we're halting this. Nobody can buy GameStop. Nobody can buy AMC. Nobody can buy certain other stocks because we don't want to get involved in this kind of volatility. But the big guys can still buy and sell. It's only Robinhood people that are stopped from buying and selling. Retail sellers. Who are the retailers, buyers and sellers? It's you and me. Unless you happen to run a hedge fund, and then that's a different story. So I hope that explains it. Yeah, but here's the thing, Rick, though. Market manipulation is how the market works. It's a casino. We live in what I call a faith-based economy. Stocks are not tagged to P&E, price and earnings. You don't, for example, Home Depot might make $1 million in a year. It's way more than that. Let's just say. So the stock should be pegged on the 3-year value of that $1 million. So it should have about $3 million worth of stock. Just a general, it's not. The stocks are worth whatever people believe that they're worth. And so you get this kind of fluctuation in the market. The more people buy, the more the higher the price goes. The more people sell, the lower the price goes. And then wackiness like this. So there's a whole bunch of things happening right now, and people, really smart people, are going to figure out how to manipulate this even at a greater level. Which all comes back to the fact that you should be watching Black Monday on Showtime. It is very clever. One of the hedge funds had to declare bankruptcy, apparently, the last couple of days. Let's see, there's probably the name of it. Is it Marvin or was it somebody else? Basically, the Reddit users decided, let's attack the short sell on this. And it made it work, which there's things like that every once in a while that, well, what if somebody did this? Well, then we're screwed. But no one does it. They did it, which I think is actually kind of cool. I just do not like the fact that Robinhood put a stop to people being able to independently trade. That's not their business. The Reddit users, anybody. You could be a Reddit user green room. It's you and me. Is there risk involved? Yeah. Oh, a ton of risk. But a lot of people on Reddit in that Wall Street bets market. Some people bought through Robinhood, and then they're like, oh, you know what? Once the stock hits $351, I'm selling. So they get on their app to try and sell and make their money the way that corporate America has for decades and decades, and they're blocked, which is not right. Talk about a manipulated stock market. That's what the stock market is, and that's wrong. Anyway, more questions. Little guy screwed over the 1%. Yeah, that's what happened right here. But not all the 1%, because remember, they're all diversified. With the great housing crash in 2007, 2008, a lot of people made a lot of money. And if you take a look at that money, now that the dust is settled, that money moved out of houses and into soybeans and other commodities that increased during the recession. Smart people always make money. Anyway, buy low, sell high. And shorting just shouldn't be allowed, but it is. Let's go back to Jen Psaki here.
Is the administration
If there's questions, I'll try and listen and watch the chat room at the same time and address those questions.
working with Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to push Gary Gensler's nomination, given the frenzy?
Producer Joanna says, but you're a smart person. Joanna, that's Y-O-U''RE. It's two words put together. It's you take U and R, put them together, get rid of the A, and you put the sky comma up. Oh, she's already corrected it.
In the stock market?
Well, I've not spoken with our legislative team about Gary Gensler's nomination specifically, but certainly the president has spoken about the urgency of getting his team in place to address the range of issues we're facing, and I don't think that would be any different for Mr. Gensler. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Thank you so much. First on the COVID relief package, in order to cut a deal, would President Biden be willing to entertain a smaller package?
Well, first, and you didn't ask me this, but since there was some reporting this morning, I just want to take the opportunity to be crystal clear. We're not looking to split the package. That is not a proposal from the White House. I talked to the president about it this morning. That is not what our focus is or our intention is. And the reason is because we are not going to put ourselves in a place or anyone in a place where we're...
What are pits and puts? So a put option is usually there's a preset level. They're both, so a short and a put are both bets against the stock. So they're both what they call bear market. Bull market is when the market is charging forward. A bear market is when the bear comes in and starts tearing things apart. So a put option usually involves you put down an exact figure. I don't know if that's what it stands for, but that's, you say, okay, I'm going to sell this stock at this value. Whereas a short, you can sort of hang on to that and see what happens. You don't have to say, and it's slightly less risky because there's an absolute set value. When it gets to $6, we are selling. So it's more of an arrangement. And it's different rates and the different capitals involved and stuff like that. But that's the basic difference as I understand it.
We're choosing between helping families to put food on the table and making sure kids get back to school, or making sure kids get back to school and getting a vaccine in the arms of Americans. Now, at the same time, what the president has conveyed to all of us and had during his conversations with members of Congress is that he's put his proposal out there. He was in the Senate for 36 years. He of all people.
I'm not an expert on the market. If somebody else knows stuff about the market and I'm getting something wrong, please let me know.
Appreciates the back and forth, the engagement, the
Lizzie said, I bad math.
Opportunity to hear from members of all sides on what they like, what they don't like, things they think should be smaller. Some have proposed things should be bigger. There's, of course, lots of ideas. No member of Congress is a wallflower that are out there in public, and certainly that reflects the private conversations as well. And, you know, there are areas, for example, there has been some discussion of...
That's a good question, Ian. When you short and give it back, is it valued at the price bought or given back? So... the stocks are always the value, the current value, that up and down, whatever that is at that particular moment, that's the value of the stock. When you give it back, you have to purchase it and give it back, and you have to purchase it at the current price, be that $50 or $269. That's where you have to purchase it. So it's all about the timing of it, but the stock value goes up and down. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, that's the reason why you can make so much money or lose so much money, because you can't. There's something else where you say, like, I will buy at this value if it goes down to this value. But that's sort of how the stock market works without the shorts. You're just saying, I'm not going to buy until it gets to this, and then you sell at hopefully a higher rate. And if that, if that doesn't explain the movie Trading Places to you finally, it's because that's not what Trading Places was about. That was about insider trading.
Can this be more targeted? You know, the president believes that, and that based on his recommendations of his economists and his health and economic experts, this is a...
Guys, if you are interested in the stock market, the Motley Fool, which is fool.com, does an excellent job of explaining these kinds of things. There's also a ton of videos on YouTube and stuff like that. But the Motley Fool is a wonderful resource. And over time, they've done very, very well for a lot of people who are financially illiterate. They're a trusted source. Check out Motley Fool if you want to know more. Fool.com, Fool.com.
This is a overall package and proposal that is absolutely targeted toward the people who need it most, but he's happy to have a conversation about that, and happy to have a conversation about any component that people are coming at him with good ideas. But our focus is on making it better, improving the package as people have good ideas. We're open for business and open to hear from members of Congress on that, but we're not going to do this in a piecemeal way or break apart a big package that's meant to address the crisis we're facing.
On COVID, can you confirm that the Biden administration is actively looking into expanding mandatory testing for domestic travelers here in the United States, and what other new domestic requirements can you detail that might be forthcoming?
Well, we had put out just a couple of days ago, as we talked about earlier, some specific requirements on international travel. As you know, I don't have anything to preview for you or predict on domestic travel restrictions. Our team is always about
these press conferences are so boring compared to Kayleigh McEnany. Because what color is the sky? You can hazard a guess that Jen's going to say blue or perhaps gray, or if it's nighttime, hard to tell, but I'm guessing black right now. You never knew what Kayleigh McEnany was going to say. Holy smokes, we're only 15 minutes into 45 minutes of this.
Evaluating and how to keep the American people safe.
Go ahead. Thanks, Jen. Can you give the American people any hope that the vaccine supply is going to go much over 10?
Maybe we could do a virtual place holiday together. I'm not sure what you're asking. If anyone needs a holiday, I recommend virtual places. Virtual places? Is that like like a Zoom room where you can go? I don't know what that is.
1 million doses a week for the next couple months.
Well, as you know, but in case people watching don't know, the president made an announcement just 2 days ago about increasing the supply of vaccines to ensure that we are getting as much of the supply into the hands of governors and elected officials as we can to get the vaccine into the arms of Americans. We're going to continue to push. As he said, he's going to continue to push. We will all continue to push. But the issue is not just vaccine supply. A big issue is vaccinators and the capacity to have people who can put the vaccine into the arms of Americans in communities and in neighborhoods to be able to do that, and it's also vaccine locations. So we already made an announcement less than 48 hours ago about increasing the vaccine supply going to states. He will continue to push. Our goal is, of course, to continue to increase in all of these areas.
But the main issue is supply, isn't it?
It's one of the issues. We will be in a place by this summer where we will have enough supply for the public, but that doesn't ensure that everybody will have had a vaccine, because we need to ensure we have the materials to distribute the vaccine, the vaccinators and qualified individuals to literally put the shots in the arms of Americans, places to do it. This is why this is such a Herculean task, because it requires so many components.
Sanofi just announced that it has struck a deal with Pfizer to produce 125 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine, but that's all going to the EU, and it's not going to start until this summer. Has the White House been talking to domestic pharmaceutical companies about doing something similar more quickly?
Well, the president did invoke the Defense Production Act, as you all know, last week, but we're not, to quote Dr. Fauci, because it's always a good place to be, we're not producing shoes here. We're producing vaccines, and we want to work very closely with the manufacturers and the companies that are the experts on producing these to ensure they can do exactly that. It's not easy to start from scratch in a new facility. We're very mindful of that, and so right now we're certainly reviewing all options, but our focus is on continuing to work directly with the manufacturers and their facilities to get the vaccines out the door. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. And Nandita from Reuters News. One question on the healthcare EO today. How many people does the White House expect will sign up during the supplemental time period? How many people are you expecting will sign up for these insurance programs through the Federal Exchange?
Well, we don't have a number to predict for you, but the reason that the president signed the executive order today was because it felt essential at a time of a pandemic when millions of people are concerned about their health care, far too many still don't have access, to open up an expanded window for Americans to be able to apply. And we will have a robust public campaign, public paid media campaign to reach the American people, and we'll be putting a lot of levers and resources toward that, but I don't have a prediction for you in terms of the numbers.
No estimates going in?
We're not going to do predictions from here. Just as many American people who don't have access and currently are not on the exchange that we can reach will be our goal to reach.
And I had a follow-up on the markets and everything that's happening with GameStop. You did mention, I believe, yesterday that the Treasury Secretary is monitoring the situation and she's kind of on top of it. There have been some kind of concerns about her previous engagements with Citadel and speaking fees that she has received from Citadel. Are there any plans to have her recuse herself from advising the president on GameStop and the whole Robinhood situation?
Well, just to be clear, what I said was that we have the Treasury Secretary is now confirmed. Obviously, we have a broad economic team. The SEC put out a statement yesterday that I referred to, but I don't think I have anything more for you on it, other than to say, separate from the GameStop issue, the Secretary of Treasury is one of the world-renowned experts on markets, on the economy. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone she was paid to give her perspective and advice before she came into office. Go ahead. Before she came in to be the Treasury Secretary, I should say. Go ahead.
Jen, I have a couple of foreign policy issues.
Sure.
The first one is on Taiwan. Chinese Defense Ministry spokesman said yesterday that the Chinese military activities in the Taiwan Strait is a necessary response to foreign intervention and that any efforts towards independence means war. Does the administration believe that Beijing is testing the U.S. on the issue of Taiwan, and how would you respond?
Well, the good news is that my longtime friend John Kirby is giving a briefing today at the Department of Defense, and I would certainly refer you to him and any comments he makes on this specific issue. Do you have another question?
Yes. I'm just again following up Secretary Blinken's statement yesterday on the review of the sale of F-35s to the United Arab Emirates and also missiles to the Saudis. What is the message of the administration to the region in terms of your position on the Abraham Accords? I understand the president is open to having more countries join, but how urgent is it for the administration, and what would be your strategy? Would you, for example, continue the carrot and sticks approach of the Trump administration?
Well, I know Secretary Blinken was just confirmed yesterday. I love having all these cabinet members and colleagues in places and agencies because there's even more expertise out there. But as you know, we've recently paused some arms sales to ensure they meet our strategic objectives, including how to end the conflict in Yemen. But State will be able to speak to it in greater detail. And as you also noted, there's going to be an ongoing review of a range of policies, including what our engagement will be in the Abraham Accords.
In terms of the urgency, how urgent is it for the administration that more countries sign on?
Well, again, this will be under the purview of the State Department. I'm sure they'll be speaking to it, and the Secretary was just confirmed earlier this week, so we'll give him a minute to figure out where his pencils and pens are, but certainly it's important, an important issue and one that they will be reviewing soon, I'm sure.
Question on Russia. Do you have anything else to add now that the Russian court has rejected the appeal of Alexei Navalny? Anything else that you'd like to add beyond what you've said?
No, as I noted the other day, and as was clear in the readout that we issued of the president's call with President Putin, he did not hold back in conveying his concern and about the treatment of Alexei Navalny and the treatment of protesters, and that is certainly something that will continue to communicate at many levels with the Russians. Go ahead.
Hi, two questions. Actually, third, I just wanted to follow up on the Russia question. Is there anything at all that you can give us in terms of the tone of that call or the length of the call? I mean, the topics that you laid out, kind of boom, 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 were all pretty, it seemed like quite a difficult conversation for the Russian president, perhaps. And I'm just wondering if you can give us any sort of sense of color about how it went.
Well, I'm not in the business of reading out anything the Russians are doing, as I know you're not exactly asking, but...
Breaking news, the COVID protocol has postponed tonight's game between the NHL Vegas Golden Knights and St. Louis Blues. So the hockey game in Vegas has been postponed due to one player, some coaching staff, and trainers entering COVID protocol. It does not say whether any of those actually have COVID-19, just that if there's a protocol in place that if you're in contact with somebody who does test positive for COVID-19, that you have to quarantine. And so what they've done is they've said, okay, we'll postpone this. And that is now the 7th game in the NHL that has been postponed so far this season. Yeah, so that's 7 games so far. And the teams have all played somewhere between 6 and 9 games.
Sort of. I will say that President Biden had clear objectives that he wanted to get across during that call. He has never held back as it relates to President Putin or his concerns about the actions of the Russian government, and he certainly conveyed that clearly during the call. As you know, there's also a review that's underway about a range of activities that is being overseen by his national security team, and he touched on a number of those issues during that call. But I don't have anything more for you. I'm sure the Kremlin is happy to give you a readout of how well President Putin thinks the call went. Go ahead.
Fair enough. Another question.
Yeah, this is so weird that the White House released the call, the readout of it, what happened on it, whereas before with Trump, the readouts from the calls would just be they had a very productive call. And then we'd have to wait till the Kremlin released information to find out what actually happened in the call with Russia. Remember, Trump wouldn't allow anybody in on his meetings with Putin. In fact, at one point, took the translator's notes and destroyed them. Which, to this day, what if we find out that it is true that Putin had something on Trump and Trump made policy decisions based on Putin's ownership of it? What if it turns out that it's true? Can we impeach him then? According to Republicans, no. No, once the president's out of office, nothing you can do. Which is why that argument is ridiculous.
Is just on immigration. A federal judge in Texas has blocked your 100-day deportation pause. I just wanted to see how that's.
I don't know who that is, but she looks exactly like somebody I don't know who I know. You know, with the mask on, just this area right here, like a mom on one of my daughter's softball teams or something, looks exactly like somebody I know, but I can't place it.
Impacting the Biden agenda.
Or does she look like somebody famous? Is that somebody's? I don't know.
Is any way a reason for perhaps a delay in an immigration EO that we've been expecting?
No, I will.
No big news so far, Leslie. Matt Gaetz went to Wyoming. They're attacking Liz Cheney because they're eating their own. It's about control of the party right now.
I'll say,
which is good, which is very good for anyone who's not a Republican.
I know we had a statement on the specific case you referenced, which I'm happy to circle back with you on it if you haven't received it. In terms of our overarching agenda and approach to immigration, there was an early and draft version of what our executive order plan and schedule looked like, and that was early and was draft and was not accurate. But I will tell you, get some sleep this weekend. We'll have more to say next week on immigration. The president will, so we'll have more to report out to you in the next couple days.
One final thing here. I was curious, some of my colleagues have earlier been asking you about reconciliation and sort of the tension between moving quickly with Biden's legislative agenda versus sort of a longer period of
reconciliation, for those of you who weren't watching yesterday, reconciliation is the period in the Senate at the beginning of the session where you can pass things that are budgetary focused. You have a limited number of them because, again, the Senate just makes up the rules as they go. There's a limited number of reconciliation bills you can have that happen during the time of reconciliation that only need 50 votes to pass, 50 out of 100 votes.
Negotiation.
Sorry, I should say 51. But if it's a tie 50-50, then the vice president breaks that tie, and in this case, it's a Democrat.
And I do wonder with this last week, you did have Senator Leahy in the hospital, Senator Mark Warner in quarantine because of COVID. There's a pandemic going on, and you have the slimmest possible majority in the Senate. Is there any sort of, when you look at the health situation, is there any sense that perhaps moving it along quickly while you still have a majority might be the better move?
Well, I've watched Senator Leahy in action for quite some time, and he has been, continues to be an advocate, as we know, for justice, for equality, and he's pretty wily and fierce, so we're pretty...
Executive producer asked, do you still call CNN as CNN? Apparently I do. Your son is probably asking because that's what the cool kids are doing.
Confident we're going to be working with him for a while, and as you know, he's resting.
I had actually forgotten until right now that I was doing that, so thank you very much, producer Rich Mac's son, Junior Mac. I remember when McDonald's had the Junior Mac. Could you remember that? Do you guys remember the DLT, or the McDolt, as I called it? The DLT, it was the McD, so Mickey D's. That was before they called themselves Mickey D, though. The McD, and then the lettuce and tomato. So the McDonald's lettuce and tomato, but no bacon. So it came in a styrofoam container, and the hot side was hot, and the cool side was cool. And then you got it. You essentially made you did the work for them. But I actually really enjoyed it, and the reason was because it was a good mix of salt and pepper.
At home, and we wish him our best. But I would say
I'm going to show you guys a commercial that's going to blow you away.
The president came into office knowing he was going to have a slim majority, and that it would be essential to work with both Democrats and Republicans, and that it would be extremely challenging, if not nearly impossible, to get big, bold work done on behalf of the American people without working with both parties. And that's exactly why he has...
Watch this, guys. This is a McDonald's commercial from 1985 for the McDolt. Who's this kid right here? Watch this. You're going to recognize him.
There's some tomato hamburgers in this town that don't quite make it. Yeah! You say that just once you'd like your hamburger hot and your lettuce and tomato cool and crisp all at the same time? Yeah! Well, I say you got it. I'm talking McDonald's new lettuce and tomato hamburger.
It's George Costanza!
The McDLT. I'm talking quarter pound of beef on the hot, hot side.
And the hot stays hot.
The new McDLT.
Hot, hot.
Crisp lettuce and tomato.
By the way, if you ever get a chance to watch the PBS special that Jason Alexander did, the man is a phenomenal performer. Absolutely fantastic. Knows his musical theater, and he can dance, by the way. So, yeah, here's more of Jason.
Tomato on the cool side.
Cool side.
Cool. Stays cool. The new McDLT. Cool crisp. The beef stays hot. The cool stays crisp. Put it together, you can't resist. The hottest taste. The coolest dish.
Keep it hot, hot. Keep it cool, cool. McDLT.
What's funny is after he was George Costanza, couldn't have made this commercial because that's all everybody would look at. George Costanza's not cool, but in this he's got the pink shirt, it's got it's a hot and a cup. So cool. Wow, that short guy's cool.
McDLT, hot beefy McD, cool crisp LT, McDLT. It's a good time, hot beefy McD, for the great taste, cool crisp LT.
Could be the best tasting lettuce and tomato hamburger ever.
New McDLT.
Say you're getting.
It's one of my favorite commercials. And thank God for YouTube, because that would just be lost to time if we didn't have the YouTube. Let's go back. Speaking of YouTube.
As himself had a number of engagements and calls.
It was essentially a quarter pounder, except that the lettuce and tomato stayed cool. Oh, and there was more peppery, I think. There was more on the beef. I think they put extra pepper. I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody who's researched that.
With members of Congress, Democrats and Republicans.
But I liked it because the whole thing was when you're making a quarter pounder, if it's got lettuce on it, they just kind of throw the lettuce on. But they had all this space to fill on the one side of the styrofoam, so they used a ton of lettuce and a lot of tomato. And I like myself a lot of tomato. Speaking of tomatoes.
And why he has asked his team to do exactly that as well. So we've known, of course, even before the election.
Yeah, does a quarter pounder even have tomatoes? I don't think it does.
In Georgia.
I don't know. I don't think that'll give me a copyright strike because I don't think that music. Yeah, in order to have a copyright strike, somebody would have had to take that music. The publisher of that music would have had to take it and put it into the system, and then so unlikely, but possible. In which case, I'll just delete it from the. I should be able. Excuse me, just to remove it.
We thought there wouldn't even be a slim majority. We would be in the minority. So
wait, does McDonald's not have tomatoes? Yeah, they do, don't they? A Big Mac does not. What else? A quarter pounder, I don't think it has tomatoes. Cheeseburger does not. Hamburger does not. They have ketchup. Do they not have fresh tomatoes? At McDonald's? Wow. I've never realized this before. For example, yesterday, I don't know if, so, wow, they don't. And David, that's from Snopes. David Mickelson says they do not have tomatoes. Can you order tomato at McDonald's? Can you say put tomato on there? The McDLT had tomatoes. The McBLT, oh, it's a bacon, lettuce, and tomato? I didn't know that existed. So I honestly haven't been to McDonald's in so long. Burger King does have tomatoes. And here's the thing about the Burger King. They've got the Impossible Burger. So I have been going to Burger King for two reasons. Number one, I'm trying to support vegan options. So if I feel like a burger and that's an option and I'm out somewhere or whatever, but I will go to the BK near me because they keep giving me free, they don't keep giving me. One of the Kevinly family sends me their codes for free. I guess T-Mobile does the thing with Burger King and they send me their codes. I don't know if that person's watching right now. If you're watching, is it okay if I say that? They send me the codes, and then I put the code in my phone, and then I get a free Impossible Whopper. And then I come home, and I do it up on that Impossible Whopper. I cut my own tomatoes. I love tomatoes. I put the tomatoes on there. If I have an avocado, I'll cut that up. I nuke it. I don't nuke the tomato. You want to keep the cool side cool, right? So you take the top off. You dress the top up while you're nuking the bottom. You put that in for 30 seconds in the microwave, get rid of all the COVID, etc. If you're going to kick COVID from the top bun, God just wants you to have COVID. It's just the way it works. Then, when I go through In-N-Out, I always say, hey, can I have a couple of sauce packets? Because In-N-Out will give you their Thousand Island. It's a slightly different mix than Thousand Island, but it's delicious. So I'll use that and have myself like an Impossible Burger from In-N-Out because of the sauce. To all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
He's been planning for that, and we've been...
Yeah, not all burgers on McDonald's carry that burger, David. The McRib, by the way, is back. It's always back as far as I know. The McRib is just a hot dog, reshaped. What is it called when they reform it? There's a name for the production process. It's reprocessed. It's just hot dog, but they shape it. They meld it. There's a word for that when you shape something. You form it. It's just a hot dog. And it's not even a good hot dog in barbecue sauce. That's all the McRib is. You're right. It's not food. So when they take the cardboard and they make it in the shape of ribs, what's that called? It's not rendered. It is it comes out of a form, not processed. This is a manufacturing process, and it's somebody who's been in manufacturing will know the form, right? Not reconfigured. we are so not blue collar, not molded. Molded is what it is, yes, but that's not the word that I'm looking for. Wow, we are so not middle America.
Been planning for that through the...
What is the Big Tasty, Messiah? Let's look up the Big Tasty, because you said that, my brain said, oh, that was good. Not formed. There's a different word for it. This is important. This is what happens when we're watching a Jin Saki. Not pressed. Pressed is close. You're on the right track, Rich. Let's look up what's in the McTasty here. McTasty. It's called the Big and Tasty. 1984. Big and Tasty is a hamburger sold. Similar variation of the Big and Tasty with the center, without the center N. So just Big Tasty is sold in Saudi Arabia. It's sold in Europe, South America, blah, 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 in Taiwan. So it looks like this. It's just a cheeseburger is what it is. Remolded? Remolded might be what I'm looking. It's not the word I'm looking for, though. Not modified. Hold on, let's find out like a real picture, like their picture of it. Okay, so it's supposed to look like this. So it's basically a cheeseburger. It's bringing back this for a limited time, and we're like, yes. The Big and Tasty with bacon. That's what it's supposed to look like. It's just a small Big Mac with no center. It's just a smaller Big Mac. But are they transmortified? That's it, Rich. That's not it. The judges just felt like ringing the bell. In 2003, the double cheeseburger replaced the Big Tasty on the dollar menu. That's why my brain said it's good. Not that it's good. Does it have tomato? It does. Okay, that's why. Okay, thank you. Two things about the Big and Tasty, or just Big Tasty if you're in Saudi Arabia. If you're in Arabia, like our good friends Matt Gaetz and company, it's got tomatoes, and that's good. Can't go wrong with that. Unless you're Kevin Lee brother, in which case he will puke. I have seen my brother at a Burger King order with tomatoes, without tomato. He hates tomatoes. Order without the tomatoes, take a bite of a burger that had tomatoes, and vomit it up. Cannot do tomatoes. He says he's allergic to them. And I know we've had this discussion before, but I don't think he's actually allergic, because an allergy wouldn't cause you to force vomit that quickly. Checked DMs for I don't want to know how McRibs are made. Who said that I did? Two things about that. So it's got the tomatoes. Number two, it was on the dollar menu, so it was cheap. And here's the thing. The tomatoes, it gives it a juiciness. And that's good. And it's got a ton of cheese, too. I can't believe that was on the dollar menu. It's like 45 years ago. They don't have a dollar menu. They have a dollar and more menu now. Does anything at McDonald's still cost $1? Here's a link. How the McRib is actually made, courtesy of Marcy. I'm just laughing at where we're going with this today. Some people, like Hal Sparks, he plans his show out. He's got a plan. He's have a roadmap, and he goes to that destination. Now we're talking. How does a McRib made? Okay, this is what a McRib looks like before it's cooked. Okay, and none of that is actual rib. It could be. I don't want to get sued by McDonald's. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay. This is real pork meat. Is processed and mixed with water, salt, dextrose, a type of sugar, and preservatives. Here, I'll zoom in for you guys. I'll zoom in more because I care. Move this around. How we got? Okay. This is gross. And then they move the meat around a factory. The pork gets shaped into something that vaguely resembles a rack of ribs. Then the patties are sprayed with water and frozen. And here are the final results. No, that is such bull. No, look at how much rib sticks out from the bun. That is not the way a McRib looks in practice. Here's the full video. Oh, hold on, we can watch the video. The video is private. Damn it, Marcy, you led us down the road, and when we got to the destination, the gates of the city were locked. Damn you. Okay, somebody silence Marcy on the chat room for a while, because she's just causing havoc. Where were we?
The course of the last several months. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm following up on immigration. I understand what you're saying about the document that's out there with some executive orders and dates, but the chief of staff...
I do remember the McRib being quite a bit larger. I remember the apple pies. You remember the apple pies, A, used to be fried, B, were much better, and C, there would be apple coming out of the ends of the boxes. And now the boxes are smaller too. And it's not just when you're a kid, everything is bigger. Apple pie boxes used to be that big. Remember? And if you didn't have a station wagon, you could not buy an apple pie. It wouldn't fit in a sedan.
Also indicated that immigration would be coming by February 1st, which I believe...
Do you guys know, are there any fast food chains that still have fried apple pies? Because it's baked now. Heated at McDonald's. For a while, you could still get fried apple pies at KFC. I don't know if you still can. I mean, it's KFC, for the love of God. You're getting fried chicken. Checkers still has... Are there... Rick says Checker. Rick, you're in like Jersey or something. Are there any Checkers in LA? Producer Rich, you would know. McDonald's apple pies are really made from potatoes. Correct. The crust of the apple pie is potato, and the inside is real pork, which is sprayed with water and then frozen.
I believe is Monday. So are the immigration executive orders coming on Monday? And is this...
Shut up, Rick. We're going to Checkers. Rick says they deep fry the apple pie and then powder them with sugar and cinnamon. Folks, we're going to Checkers. Hold on. Where is the closest Checkers? Remember, fans of the show, first off, why? Secondly, you'll remember that we got to go to Phoenix to get a burger from... I can never remember. Chandler's. Champs. Herschel's. There's a chain, and the closest one is Phoenix, and they were rated the best burger. They have custard. What's the name of that chain? What are we looking up? I just typed in games for some reason. Let's do this. Checkers location. Checkers locations near me. Find the nearest Checkers location near you. Here we go. Los Angeles, and the closest Checkers is there's nothing. I just want a map with all the locations. Hold on, let's try Google Maps. White Castle is there's nothing about White Castle. Culver's, thank you, Kev. Woohoo! 3 dings for 4 bonus ding. Culver's. Is anybody eating at Culver's? Is it good? But yeah, we got to go to Phoenix because that's the closest Culver's. Hold on. We'll look here. And we're going to go to, what are we looking for? Checkers. What? No, that's not the real thing. Checkers Hall, Checkers. All right, we got to zoom out. It'll be what? Checkers Burger, do you think they call that? This Checkers Burgers. Oh, Rallies. It's also Rallies. Checkers and Rallies are the same place. Checkers and Rallies. Oh, they've got Rallies here. So maybe, okay, so maybe the Rallies, maybe Rallies has it. Hold on, let's look up the Rallies menu. Apple pie menu from Rallies Dine-In. And let's see. Sweet sides, that's what we're looking up. And no, what the fuck? Rick, you're messing with me here. They don't have apple pies. You son of a bitch. What? Rayleigh's? It's called Rayleigh's? I don't know. Michelle says, Kevin, they sell frozen fries. Who sells frozen fries? I've forgotten the name already. Kevin Culver's, thank you. I don't know why I can't remember that name. Culver's, like Culver City. I don't know why I can't remember. Culver's is amazing. One thing to be proud of being from Wisconsin. That is correct. And they actually have a huge number of restaurants across everywhere up to Phoenix. And they stop in Phoenix. Allison says, the Route 3 drive-in always has a commercial for the Nutley Pet Center. Okay, good to know. Moving on. Search for Checkers apple pie. Yeah, but that doesn't help me. We need to find out where the nearest does Checkers apple pie actually exist? Checkers apple pie. So what we've learned today is that Rayleigh's and Checkers, not the same. Okay. Wait, okay, this is from new and removed fast food items. This is from 2020. Okay. Go away. Oh, this is a website called Burger Beast. But yeah, Culver's Butter Burgers is what I've heard I have to go get. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I'm pouring a lot of Checkers. Okay, indulge your sweet apple pie. Okay, Checkies and Rattlers. I'm not sure I'm not sure why I was so shocked about the removal of apple pies from the Checkers and Rayleigh's menus. It's probably because I'm still reeling all these years later from McDonald's fried apple pie. We're not alone, people. At least one other national chain still has fried pies. Popeyes! Kids, we're going to Popeyes. I know they're around here somewhere. Oh God, yes, cheese curds. So we're going to Culver's after the pandemic, and we'll have a big meetup there in Phoenix. Book your tickets now. Kev, are they really good onion rings though? Because onion rings can be fantabulous, and they can be so disappointing. So disappointing. So Popeyes. I'll find a Popeyes. I'll report back later. How do we get from impeachment to fried apple pies? I always end up my day with thinking about fried apple pies. That's just how I work. Well, let's look at the Popeyes menu and see if Burger Beast... By the way, let's see if Burger Beast has like a Twitter or something, because I'll follow. Here we go. Twitter, Burger Beast, follow. They're in Miami. Burger. Yeah, he likes burgers. Or she likes burgers. Looks like a guy in the logo, though. I wonder what burger this is, because I want it. Let's set up for alerts. And thank you, Burger Beast, for your service. What else are we looking up, guys? What? Crisp and actual onion inside. Yes! Good. We're going to Culver's. What were we were just looking up Popeyes? No, something else. Oh, we're going to look up the Popeyes menu. Popeyes fast food company. Explore our menu. So the Popeyes chicken, I don't like. I love fried chicken. I do not like fried chicken that the skin is separated from the chicken by that. It's grease, but there's some like liquid that comes out. I want it cooked more than that, but I don't want it too crunchy. Does that make sense? Like Kentucky Fried Chicken, actually, they do a really good job with that secret recipe. They do chicken right. Okay, ripping chicken, no. They have beignets now? Holy crap. I don't even want to get involved with Popeyes at this point. 2 can dine on delivery, $12 for, what are those, chicken fingers? No, that looks like actual chicken. Check our new offers. But what about more? Explore our menu. I thought that's where we were. Yeah, there we go. Desserts. No, they look baked. They looked baked. Cinnamon apple pie. Okay. But are those fried, guys? Guys, take a look at these. I need your help. Here it is. Those look baked to me. Are they fried? But they've got hot cinnamon apple goodness on the inside? Yeah. Popeyes, Rich, you're telling me that Popeyes apple pies are fried. Rich is sending me a link. Let's all read that link. This is what happens when the Biden administration comes in, because now I'm no longer interested. I'm like, oh yeah, you're the government. Okay, do your thing. Do your thing. Let me know when the impeachment starts. Let's go to Thrillist. Thrillist might have been where I found out about Culver's. Marcy confirms that they're fried. Marcy, you said somebody else had fried, or was it Popeyes that you were talking about in Hawaii? Is it the McDonald's pies in Hawaii that are still fried? Marcy said something in Hawaii was still fried. Popeyes pumpkin cheese. No, pumpkin cheese. I love pumpkin. I love cream cheese. I love pumpkin cream cheese, but I don't want it in pie. McCafe baked apple pie. No, okay. Burger King Snickers pie. It's okay. I don't order it. So McDonald's fries their pies in, that's hard to say. McDonald's fries their pies in Hawaii, huh? Worth going to Hawaii, I guess. I don't think Hawaii has any other reason to go there. You deep fried at home, Rick? The KFC pot pie. That is, you know what? As much as I love an apple pie, pot pie, chicken pot pie, better than everything. And why? The crust. Peach, Jollibee peach mango? I don't know anything about peach mango pie. I don't know anything about Jollibee. I don't know where Jollibee is. Okay, but good for them. Popeyes pecan. I'll always go with the pecan pie. But you offer me pecan pie, and I'll be like, you're an idiot. The Arby's cherry turnover, better than it sounds. And the chocolate turnover, also delicious. It's just Nutella in a roll, but it's so flaky good. And that's the end of it. Let's go to Thrillist and let's look at their best burger. Thrillist. Oh, they do everything. Let's see if I can do... Here we go. Let's go for cheeseburger. If you're vegan right now, you're a terrible person. Can we do best burger? Best burger. I should write for Thrillist. Where to find the best vegetarian and vegan food in Atlanta? How is that best burger? Not what anyone is asking for. Wendy's new pretzel bacon cheeseburger might be the best burger on the menu, and it might not. I do like, of all the fast food burgers of the national chains, I'm not talking Culver's, I'm not talking In-N-Out, I'm not talking White Castle. Of all the fast food burgers, the actual meat, the best tasting meat is Wendy's. The Wendy's burger is amazing. The pretzel burger, I might try one out. I think there's a Wendy's around here somewhere. They keep sending me emails. I don't know how. They're one of the menus, the emails that I had to unsubscribe for. But I know there's some there's got to be a Wendy's in Pasadena or somewhere. But Wendy's is quite good. It is quite delicious. I want Kevin in my mouth. Oh, heaven in my mouth. Okay, well, I'll go try that out. What I'll do is I'll go to Wendy's, get myself a pretzel burger. Wow, you guys are in love. Dr. Howard is like, the pretzel burger is awesome. Wow. I'll go and I'll get myself a pretzel burger from Wendy's and then swing by Popeyes and get a fried apple pie. Why does the U.S. have large portions? It's a long story that has to do with the government subsidizing the price of corn and other commodities that enable us to eat cheaply, because you want your workforce eating cheaply and plentifully so that they are fat, dumb, and happy so they can go generate money for the 1%. Speaking of 1%, speaking of vegans, I just got a letter. Wonder who it's from.
Okay, don't show your address on the camera.
Don't show my address on the camera. I got a letter from Maya Makes. Maya Makes. Hold on. Close the door.
I can't.
You can. No, you can see. You can come in. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Maya Makes Company. So I'm guessing this is someone named Maya who sent me something. Sent me what? What can it be?
You're missing all of the important things.
Kevin, thank you.
Open it. Open the package first.
This?
That.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
I was reading the thank you card. Hold on. I don't know what Maya makes. Hold on. Maybe there's something in here. Oh. First off, there's a heart. This looks like a little sticker maybe. Hold on. Hold on. You did this, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevinly daughter did something for me. These are some stickers. Hold on. Hold on. This is going to be so good, guys. Just wait until I can't open it. Maya makes it hard to open her packages. Is what Maya makes.
Nice.
Hold on. Hold on. Oh.
Yeah, I know. I struggled too.
I'm gonna get it. Okay. You know what, guys? I'm gonna stop the broadcast and I'll come back in 4 hours when I've opened it. Okay. Here we go. Okay. First off, I want to just say before I show you what I got in the sticker package,
What I got you.
what Kevinly daughter got me in the sticker package, I just want to tell everyone.
Ted Cruz
I
sucks.
don't want you to be, yeah, that's true. I don't want you to be jealous of what I'm about to show you. I just want you to know that it means I'm better than you.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I think about that a lot.
Yeah, look at these stickers right here. Look at these stickers, huh? Who's got 2 of these stickers? Huh? Yeah. Once I launch Twivia, maybe I'll give these out as prizes. Hey, look at that. Thank you so much, Kevinly daughter. I take it all back. I love you. Yeah. So good.
Wash your hands after you touch that, and then you should totally post those on Twitter, and then promote this and with this sticker and tag them so that they get more business because
Oh,
those
good.
are great.
Oh, yeah.
And your people might like them. So
Yeah, totally. So this is Maya Makes. Maya Makes. At Maya Makes Co. So not Minx, although I see where you're going with that, Todd. This is Maya Makes, and she's got an Etsy shop. On Twitter, she is at Maya Makes Co. So I'm going to follow her on the Twitters. Hold on. Let's pull that up right here. Let's see.
her post with a burning sticker.
Okay, hold on. Let's go to at Maya Makes here. Maya Makes Co.
If your kids
So
like
thank
Taylor
you, Maya.
Swift, she makes really cool Taylor Swift stickers.
Here she is, and we're gonna follow her and do this.
Notifications, you weirdo.
And there's she's got SpongeBob stickers.
Go to media.
Imagination. What? Go to where?
Go to media.
Media.
So you can. Ooh, there's another SpongeBob one.
Okay. We're doing really well with the press conference, guys. You guys are really hanging in there, doing a great job. Okay, lots of SpongeBobs.
Yeah, she's launching a collection.
Everhore.
No one knows what that is.
Okay, and that. Oh, there's who's that guy?
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Wearing the cardigan.
Yeah.
Plankton.
That's correct.
Oh, you're on screen recording.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Lover. That's my favorite album.
Who's this? Who's this right here?
Oh my God, what's her name? It's not Sandy.
It's not Sandy. She's the squirrel.
What's her name?
Guys,
Shelley?
whoever tells us who the whale is gets a Bernie sticker. Guys, go for it. And if you're on YouTube,
it says right there, Pearl, I win. Give me the sticker.
Okay, all right. Okay. Let's go. Oh, there's lots of. There's just loads of. That's Patrick.
Yeah, that's a collection coming
That's
out
Patrick. That's
tomorrow.
Squidward. Yeah. Patrick. Oh, she's big on. Okay, so there's lots of SpongeBob. Anyway, also made us a nice Bernie. It was Pearl. Pearl is
and driver's license stickers. That I have 2 of them. They're really pretty. But where's the Bernie sticker?
I don't know. She does a lot of stuff. It's okay. We don't have to go way back.
I know.
Wait, December 28th.
Oh my God, that's funny. What?
Okay, yeah, this gone. It's gone. Wait,
No,
we missed it.
Where'd the Bernie one? Maybe
It's gone.
Maybe she just posted a link to it.
Maybe I don't know.
That's what she did.
It's not. It's not worth fighting over. We have so many other things we need to fight about. Okay. Hey guys, you are the whale, Ian. Also, I'm the walrus. Let's get back to a press conference, shall we? See what's going on. That's the wrong one, or is it? It might be the right one. Hold on, guys. Where'd it go? I don't know what happened here. Did I just shut that on my own?
Is there some desire to wait until the secretary is confirmed for the executive orders? Or
people are busy governmenting, and we should show them the respect of listening to. How is it 2:44 in the afternoon?
Here.
How are you home from work?
Yeah, it was.
What happened to today?
It was the busiest day ever, but I got $22 in tips.
Woo! $22 stickers on Amanda.
That's crazy because I never even got tips till yesterday because I kept forgetting to take them home.
Oh, what? You just left the jar there?
Yeah. So they total it up. It's added to an amount. But retweet the tweet I sent you. It's the link to the Bernie sticker.
Cuckoo, ka-choo, cuckoo, ka-choo.
You guys buy stickers so you can match Kevin.
Buy stickers so you can match Kevin.
Me. And we'll be matching too.
Hey, yeah, you'll match Kevinly daughter.
Or can you give us any?
So again, that website is not the website, but you can go to her Twitter. Maya Makes Co. M-A-Y-A. Maya Makes M-A-K-E-S. Co, like company. That's her Twitter. Get yourself some Bernie stickers.
More light on this.
No, I would say, as you guys may know from doing your own planning with long-term enterprise stories, sometimes things change. And things change in communications planning and what day you're going to put information out. And there's a range of reasons for that. But
I have lots of stories about Liverpool, but we'll share that for another day. We're already bumping up against midnight here.
I would say stay tuned. We'll have more to say next week.
If it's Monday or not, just sometime next week?
It will be next week.
One of the executive orders that we're talking about, a plan for family reunification at the border. I mean, that's one, obviously there's many, but that's one that a lot of people are waiting to kind of hear what that plan is. Is that something we should expect?
Well, the president talked about his commitment to putting together a commission for reunifying families. He remains committed to that, and we'll have more to share on that soon. Go ahead all the way in the back.
Thank you so much, Jen. I'm Raquel Carrengo from TV Globo Brazil. I have 2 questions. Going back to the climate crisis, during the campaign, President Biden warned of economic consequences if Brazil did not reduce deforestation on the Amazon.
I don't even care what she looks like underneath that mask. Sexy. With that accent, sexy. One of the best movies you'll ever see is a little movie called Next Stop Wonderland. Next Stop Wonderland. See it. It is absolutely brilliant. I'll tell you where you can see it.
I'm wondering what kind of consequences he's considering, if it could hurt, for example, the trade negotiations with Brazil or the OECD support.
Well, we just announced yesterday that we're going to be doing a climate summit coming up in the next couple of months. And of course, this is a big priority for President Biden. And that's why he asked his good friend, former Secretary.
I don't know of a place that you can watch it with a subscription, so maybe we will watch that for one of our movie nights. Next Stop Wonderland. Somebody write that down. It's a wonderful film. Has anyone else seen it besides me? It's a little indie film, but fantastic. Got itself 4.5 stars on the Amazons.
Secretary Kerry to lead our climate international effort. And certainly Brazil will be a key partner in that. But in terms of what those negotiations and discussions look like, it's a little too early for that at this point. And I'd certainly send you to the State Department and Secretary Kerry's office for more details.
Okay, so just a follow-up. Did he invite the Brazilian president? Will he invite for the summit? And is also President Biden still planning to label countries as climate outlaws? And if so, would Brazil be part of this list?
Well, we're not quite there yet, given we just announced it. There haven't been invites or anything that went out, but we're happy to keep everybody updated. And certainly, as The United States is a large emitter, so is Brazil, so is China, so are many large countries and large economies, and we all have a role to play in addressing this crisis.
One more question, Jen. When does President Biden think he will be able to start doing, or he will do his first international trip? And where would be the first place he would go?
I don't have anything to preview or predict for you at this point. As you know, we haven't done any domestic travel yet, given COVID, so I certainly don't have any predictions about a foreign trip. Go ahead, Sabrina.
So I have a question on at her confirmation hearing yesterday. UN Ambassador Designate Linda Thomas Greenfield said she believed that BDS, the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement to pressure Israel, is unacceptable and borders on or verges on anti-Semitism. Is that a characterization that the White House shares when it comes to the BDS movement?
I don't have anything more for you on kind of our position. It's, I think, been that the president has spoken to this as a candidate and prior as vice president, but I don't have anything new, and I'm happy to get back to you if there's anything I can get to you from the National Security Team. Go ahead.
Thank you. Rob Curley with the Washington Examiner. Just to actually follow up on that, Linda Thomas Greenfield.
Okay, so this is a right-wing newspaper, so here we go. Come on.
Also said she would be standing against the unfair targeting of Israel, the relentless resolutions that are proposed against Israel unfairly. Is that the position of the White House? I mean, Israel, after all, is in violation of international law, illegally occupies the West Bank and Gaza. Do you believe it's unfairly targeted?
You know, I didn't see her full hearing yesterday. Actually, I didn't see any of her hearing. I'm happy to review it and take a look and see if there's more we can speak to from our end.
Can I also just bring back to the executive orders, the questions we were discussing at the start? So I'm still trying to sort of reconcile this deluge. What are we at? I think we're at 26 executive orders now, and reconcile that with the campaign rhetoric, because in October, Joe Biden said there were limitations on the use of executive actions, things you can't do by executive order unless you're a dictator. We're a democracy, we need consensus. Now, I think you said earlier that some of these executive orders were being used to roll back some of the immoral things that the previous administration had done. If you're calling these things immoral, is that seeking consensus and unity? And then also, I mean, does it suggest that President Biden sees himself as perhaps a benevolent dictator?
Well, Rob, I'm sure this wasn't your intention, but I think you took the president's comments a bit out of context. He was asked about tax reform and whether that could be done via executive order during the interview with George Stephanopoulos, which you're referring to.
But I think the
well, I think the question is pretty important context for everybody, and he said no. And the president also said during an interview with columnists back in December that he didn't think executive action should be used for everything, and that certainly is his point of view. But there are steps, including overturning some of the harmful, detrimental, and yes, immoral actions of the prior administration that he felt he could not wait to overturn, and that's exactly what he did. Now, any historian will tell you that he walked into the presidency at one of the most difficult moments in history that required additional executive action in order to get immediate relief to the American people. But he believes, as is law, as everybody knows how a bill becomes a law, is that in order to make action and policy permanent, you need to work with Congress. That's why he has also proposed a COVID relief package, a big, bold package. Some say very big. I agree with that. And also an immigration bill. He has not held back or delayed putting forward legislation either. So he's going to use the levers that every president in history has used, executive actions. But he also feels it's important to work with Congress and not just one party, but both parties to get things done. Go ahead in the back.
Thank you, Jen. A couple of questions. One technical question on the EO signed today. Does the EO on ACA open the marketplace to non-citizens, to legal residents or undocumented immigrants that may be able to benefit from the extra care?
It doesn't change the requirements for qualifying for the Affordable Care Act. It opens it up for 3 months for people who would be already eligible for the Affordable Care Act. So, but obviously there are, the Health and Human Services team will continue to look for ways to expand access. I will say, you didn't ask this, but this is a common question, so I'm just going to proactively answer it, that we do feel as an administration that ensuring that all people in the United States, undocumented immigrants as well, of course, should receive access to a vaccine because that, one, is morally right, but also ensures that people in the country are also safe.
And that was my second question. How are you guiding the states? Actually, yes.
Okay.
How are you guiding the states?
It's a common one.
how are you guiding the states, if in any way, to get those undocumented communities to come forward to get vaccinated? Many of them in the states don't have any way to prove that they're residents of those states in order to go to their local clinics and prove residency to get the vaccine. So how are you working with the states to get that done?
It's challenging. We've talked about this a bit in here. I mean, there's obviously vaccine hesitancy, which certainly exists in communities of undocumented immigrants, and the concern of what it will mean for their status. But we are focused on ensuring we get the vaccine out broadly and to communities across the country, because that will make the American people safer. And
Rick, where do you get deep fried shoes? That's essentially the entire menu at Arby's, but there's no Arby's near me.
It's something we have to be both creative about, aggressive about, ambitious about. It's one of the reasons we need additional funding through the American Rescue Plan, but also one of the reasons why we plan to have an aggressive public education campaign to help embolden and empower local doctors and authorities.
And if I may ask one more on Cuba, do you guys plan on...
While we're waiting on Cuba, let's watch this.
So I have been seeing a lot of people...
Okay, so, good. It's a 2-minute explanation of what's going on in the stock market. Let's find out here.
People online who are like, what is going on with the stock market?
I actually like Arby's too.
Is there anyone who can explain this in normal person terms? And so I decided I want to do that because...
Is she my sister? Does she not look a lot like me, or am I just seeing things? Well, we both have glasses.
Like, I own stocks, so I, have a pretty good understanding of the stock market. And from what I understand, there are these people who they have lots of money and they have hedges around their house. And they go to the market, but it's not a real market. It's it's metaphorical, but it's real. And they
this is awesome.
They go, that company is not doing well, so I'm gonna make it do worse. So they pull out some papers and they go, who wants to make a deal? They start making deals and they say, if this company's good, if it goes down, then I get money from you, and if it goes up, then I'll give you money. But they don't tell you that it's not gonna go up. I mean, they will make it so it goes down. But then there was this online reading club that was like, well, not today. We want hedges too. And so they went into their bank accounts, and then they also went to the market, and they were like, buy of the company, and changed it a lot. And so now the initial people with the hedges have to give their hedges, I think, to the other people. So yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know.
That's awesome. I love that. That's not Avalon explaining that, but I'll give it a like anyway. Holy crap! 415,000 likes? That was hilarious. Oh, Avalon Penrose. She's I don't think that's her. Is it her? I think. Oh, that is her. Oh, okay. All right, good. I'll follow her. She's funny. Good job, Avalon, if you're watching. She was Trump's economic advisor. Not her senior economic advisor, but right underneath Peter Navarro. She handled the vaccine rollout, so it worked out well for everybody. Let's go back to the whatever this is.
Walking.
We're almost halfway through. No, we're 34 minutes. There's 11 minutes left. Let's power through this.
Back all of those restrictions that were put into place under the Trump administration after the Obama administration had opened things up with Cuba.
Well,
she's all like, AOC, take off the mask, nice try. Dig the accent, though.
Cuba policy is governed by two principles. First, support for democracy and human rights. That will be at the core of our efforts. Second is Americans, especially Cuban Americans, are the best ambassadors for freedom in Cuba. So we'll review the Trump administration policies, as we are in a number of other areas of national security, with an eye to ensuring that our approach is aligned with that. But we will take our own path. I don't have anything to predict for you at this point in time. Go ahead, Alex.
I wanted to clarify something. We talked a little bit about the administration's stance on school reopenings yesterday.
Sure.
So Ron
I wasn't really clear on that, so I got a little better information.
Ron Klain indicated that he believes, or the administration believes, that schools need more funding for them to be safe enough to reopen for students to go back. But there's been a number of studies, including the recent one out of the CDC, that have shown evidence that schools are perfectly safe for students to go back, and there were recommendations that they should go back. So this seems like a bit of a dispute between teachers' unions and sort of data and the science. So where does the administration stand in that dispute?
Well, first, let me be absolutely clear. President Biden wants schools to open, and he wants them to stay open because it's obviously very disruptive for families. I'm a mother, for anyone who has kids, for kids to come in and out of school. But that means making sure, as you said, that every school is able to have the equipment and resources to open safely. Not just rural schools or private schools, which often is where a lot of the school reopenings and schools staying open is happening. It's more of a challenge in public schools where they don't have that funding from tuition or smaller populations where it's easier to put in place the actions needed to keep the schools open. But the CDC study, which I know has received a lot of attention, was based on kind of an area that was more rural in Wisconsin. It was not, and I think what Dr. Walensky has said is that, and I think she said this on CNN last night, is that for areas where they are more populated, where schools where there's a lot more foot traffic, that there are going to need to be a lot of steps put in place in order to make the schools reopening safe. But we are committed to doing that. That's why the president signed an executive order last week supporting the safe reopening of schools. It requires the Departments of Education and CDC to provide evidence-based guidance. So that will include things like testing, smaller class sizes, more ventilation, better cleaning, PPE, strong state and local public health guidance. But we want to provide that clarity from the federal government because there's a lot of confusion, and public schools especially don't know what steps they need to take, how to ensure they're safe. Those are all good decisions that are going to be made locally, but we want to give them the guidance. That's in process. Our team is working on that. Dr. Walensky, the CDC, and our health experts, and we hope to have more specifics soon.
Maybe two more questions.
Go ahead.
So American savings rate has been up throughout the pandemic, and so I'm wondering why give all Americans a $1,400 check and why not means test for the relief that your administration is talking about?
Well, first, the proposed checks, I mean, have the same criteria as the package that received broad bipartisan support in December, right? So approximately the $1,400 checks would go to families making approximately $150,000 a year. There's a scaling up, as I think you're referencing, up to about $300,000. I think you all are aware of this, but just for everybody else. And, there has been some questions about that. President Biden, our economic team, we're open to discussing that. But we want to ensure that the families that need relief, that need assistance, get it. And I would say at a time where we saw the economic data today, and this was reflected in Brian Deese's statement, it was worse than any week, I don't want to misquote myself here, that we saw during the Great Recession. I mean, people are suffering. Millions of people are out of work. People don't know how to put food on the table. These challenges are real. The data shows it, but we also see long lines for food pantries. We see, people who are out of work and don't know what they're going to do to make ends meet. And so that's tangible, that's real, and we want the package is going to need to be big and bold to address that.
And then since we've been talking about women's health and access to abortion today, does the administration plan to suspend the requirement that the medication abortion pill be picked up in person? I know that that's something that advocates have been pushing for after the reversal under the Trump administration.
Yeah, I've certainly seen some reporting and questions about that. I'll have to talk to our health team about that specifically.
Can I ask one more about the travel restrictions?
Sure, go ahead, and Caitlin, then we'll go to you.
A lot of our...
if you file for unemployment, you are receiving a weekly check. But the $1,400 is a different payment. That's just a payment to everybody. And then for a while, if you were unemployed, you were getting an extra $600 per week, which was amazing. Now they're talking about $400 a week. For a while, we got a little $300 a week, but that petered out and that doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, the $1,400 they're talking about right now is a check for everybody with incomes up to $300,000 per family.
Viewers are asking if there will be any kind of consideration for waivers for students or unmarried couple like fiancés, since that is now the requirement for testing and quarantine.
Well, I know there's been a lot of coverage of this and questions.
Yeah, everyone will get the $1,400 as long as they don't make over $300,000 per household. So $150,000. I honestly, at that point, like, do you need the $1,400 if you're making $300,000 between the two of you? It stimulates the economy, but a lot of Americans are using it to. Is unemployment getting $300 a week again? I can actually tell you. I'm on unemployment, so let me find out.
It's because these are people's lives and human beings who are missing their loved ones and their family members. And just to restate what the requirements
and it's going to be different by state as well
are now. So spouses of American citizens.
And then there's regular unemployment, and then there's emergency loan or emergency use PUA unemployment, which is different, which is for people like me that are usually independent contractors. So anyway, different things. That might be New Jersey. I'm going to check on mine.
And lawful permanent residents are able to travel under these restrictions we've put in place on international travel, although they have to take part in the mandatory pre-departure testing that applies to everyone. And we are reviewing and assessing, I should say, how students and unmarried couples and how we can proceed with that moving forward. I don't have anything to preview for you, but our team is looking into that.
Criteria why countries with high numbers like Russia or India or Mexico are not in the list?
Well, our health and medical team takes a close look at what restrictions we need to put in place in order to keep the American people safe, and that's how we review it. It's not about geopolitics. It was at times in the prior administration. That's not how we approach things. It's about where we need to put restrictions in place to keep the American people safe. I promise, Caitlin, you get the next one.
So just to get some clarification on the CDC study about schools being good to reopen if precautions are taken, is the White House position that it needs to be further studied since you're citing just the one school in Wisconsin, or does the White House agree with the recommendations from the CDC about schools reopening?
Well, the CDC has an issue.
Woo! Yes, the $300 is kicked in. So thank you very much for letting me know that, Rick. The last two payments I've had have been have included the $300. So fantastic. That's great. Rick just got me an extra $600. Well, I actually had the $600, but that eases things up. Good. I can pay the bills down a little bit more. So good news.
The formal.
What happened? But the $400 was included in Biden's proposed plan. Hopefully that'll go through, and that'll go up to $400.
Recommendations or requirements on how all schools across the country can open. They did a report, as they do reports frequently, based on an area in Wisconsin. Important, interesting data, no doubt, but that is not.
Oh, a rent allowance would be wonderful. Green Room, how much rent allowance are they giving people?
Not reflective of.
Just to give me an idea, Green Room, somewhere near you, how much is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment? In Los Angeles, that goes for $2,000 and up. Let's say $1,800 and up. The farther away you get from Los Angeles. $275 a week, so you're looking at, but that's euros, yeah?
Of every school district and community in the country. And so they will be coming out with more specific requirements, or more specific, I should say, guidelines for the public, because there are schools that are in much more highly populated areas. There are schools that have far more kids in classrooms, far more kids walking into the school, and they want to ensure that there's clarity on testing needs, class size needs, public health guidance that people can abide by. But their recommendation is that K through 12 schools should be the last settings to close after all of these mitigation measures have been employed and the first to reopen. So we all want schools to open and be open for good. What I'm reflecting on, or what I'm trying to clarify, I guess, is that schools and cities. I
just realized why I didn't realize that the $300 has been added, because they added those together and just paid them to me in one lump sum a couple of days ago, so I haven't looked at my bank account since then. So, yay.
Are dealing with different challenges than schools in rural communities, and schools in Wisconsin may be dealing in different challenges than schools in, downtown Atlanta, right? So there needs to be the CDC will issue more specific guidelines soon.
That's in euros. That's pretty good. What was that? 275 plus 350 or whatever it was? I'll figure it out.
They're focused on it now.
Okay, and last question on this. So President Biden has said he wants all schools to reopen in his first 100 days. Is that still the goal if Congress does not pass this proposal, which has the money for schools, which Ron Klain and others have said is what they believe schools need to reopen?
I sense skepticism about the bill getting passed. We don't feel that. Look, I think the reason... I know, that's your job. Look, I think, Caitlin, one of the reasons why we're so focused on the American Rescue Plan and getting it urgently passed through Congress is because we need this funding in order for schools to reopen and for them to have the support to ensure that they have proper ventilation, better cleaning, testing, PPE. That's a key component of the package. And that's one of the reasons we're not going to negotiate out that versus vaccine funding or and
$757 a week in American dollars. That's way more than we're getting over here. So good job being in Europe.
Unemployment insurance, because that's a key component, and we need that to ensure that schools will have the resources across the country to be able to reopen, and that's exactly what the president wants to happen.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you. Oh, okay, we're good. She was very patient. Go ahead.
Oh my God, 3-bedroom, 2-bath for $750, and it's a house? That's insanely cheap. Oh.
Thank you. I just wonder if there.
Oh, the $1,800 I was quoting, that's $1,850 for one that I saw with 1 bedroom. So 2-bedroom, 1 bath in about half an hour away from downtown LA would still put you back almost $2,000. And that doesn't include any of the amenities, the garbage, etc. You got to pay for all that separately.
There is a general sense of frustration just about the pace of things, given the vaccine distribution, some of what you inherited from the Trump administration, trying to roll out executive orders, working with Congress and...
Almost done, kids. We're almost done.
Sort of having some lawmakers raise concerns. Is it harder to change things than you all thought it would be?
I'm only laughing because we're on our 8th day here. So... and in that period of time, the president has signed multiple executive orders. He has proposed several comprehensive bills. He's had many conversations with members of Congress about the urgency of getting things done. And I will say, in those conversations, there is an understanding and agreement about the urgency of addressing these issues. So, no, we're actually pretty hopeful and optimistic about the opportunity and the ability to work with Democrats and Republicans to get packages through to help bring relief to the American public. But we also recognize that members of Congress have, they're not wallflowers. They have different points of view. They have lots of ideas. They're going to bring those forward. We're hearing them, and we're just eager to move things forward as quickly as we can. But we're on day 8, so we are confident we're still on a pretty rapid pace here. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate all of you. I'll be in my office. Thanks for your time.
Oh my God, Ian, where are you in Liverpool? That is so insanely cheap. 3-bedroom semi with a garden? Oh, Kimchi, where are you? 3-bed, 2-bath house here, $5K a month is as cheap as, holy, that is quite pricey. Where are you, Kim? And Ian, where are you? Are you in Liverpool?
And we'll do this again tomorrow.
Thank you.
And there's going to be another presser tomorrow. How about that, kids? How about that? And she will cash you outside. Okay, I think that's a broadcast for now. I'll just see if we get a response from the Twitter people. You guys are a little bit behind the times, so it takes just a second for that to come through. Let's see what Thrilla says about anything. Wine and cheeseburgers. Shake Shack has buy one, get one free cheeseburger and chicken sandwiches right now. I have no idea if there's a Shake Shack or other. Oh, Northern Virginia. Okay, so you're up there near Washington, D.C., I'm guessing. Cheshire. I don't know where Cheshire is. Hold on. We got to dig deeper into this. Okay, show. Cheshire, the Shire of Chesh. You're looking. Where are you? Oh yeah, you're right up there by Liverpool. So there's Liverpool right there. Chester and Cheshire. Where's? Well, they do have a McDonald's there. McDonald Portal Hotel Golf and Spa. I was upset that we didn't have the McRib, but they got their own McDonald's with hotel, golf, and spa. You guys are fancy. Fancy. You're welcome, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you, Green Room. Let's zoom out from there. Yeah, below. By the way, Liverpool, Man U, that football rivalry, that there's few rivalries in sports that gets these. They call that soccer. And of course, Leeds. Yeah, so that's way up there, but worth the train ride. Past Birmingham. Which reminds me, if you haven't watched Peaky Blinders yet on Netflix, worth it. Take a look. There's your planet right there, kids. Right there. There's your planet. Enjoy. Huh. Google Maps used the Mercator map. Interesting. Makes Canada look a lot bigger, which is fine. Makes Africa look so tiny. So tiny compared to the United States. Okay, kids. I think that's the broadcast for today. Here are some of your supporters. We'll see you tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to be on later today. I think that's it. Oh, good. There's more Peaky seasons. I'm happy about that. Here's some closing credits for you.
Kevin, thanks for that.